Chapter 869. Before Shuri could speak, he felt a pain in his thigh. Such a cruel scene made everyone uncomfortable. This was an amputation in front of everyone. Everyone felt a chill on their backs. This scene was really shocking. That was an expert at the peak of the Do-D class. Yet he had been tortured to death. Dojus and Doshers like them were not even enough to fill the gap between their teeth. Kai Yun, who was in the middle of the battlefield, shook his head and realized that there were no snakes. He pursed his lips and reached out to grab the other leg. No, Shuri shouted in a deep voice. He had no other choice. This little girl was too strong, so strong that he could not resist. Where are your snakes hidden? In your head? Kaiyan asked curiously. He reached out to grab his head. This scared Shuri so much that he almost **t himself. He could think of a way if he lost his limbs, but if he lost his head, there was really no way. No. Then they are on my leg. No. Then where are they? Kaiyan asked curiously. My home. I still have many at home. When the time comes, I'll give them all to you, okay? Shuri begged for mercy. He did not dare to boast anymore. He regretted jumping down. Look at Yang Yao. He had died so easily. He had been killed with one punch without any pain. Look at himself. He had been humiliated in front of everyone, and had his leg amputated. Don't think that Kaiyan did not know anything. As the boss of the Five Flags, Kaiyan's cruelty was outrageous. His favorite thing to do was to tear people apart while they were still alive. Looking at Yu Hua on the city tower, she did not stop him because she knew Kaiyan's hobby. You lied to me. You lied to me to go to your home. You're so bad. After Kaiyan finished speaking, he grabbed his remaining leg. A painful cry resounded between heaven and earth. This was the painful cry of a Do-D. At this moment, Mu Xinhai was frozen. This was the first time he had seen such a cruel little girl. She could be compared to the demons from 10 years ago. She was simply inhumane. Fan Jin had already closed his eyes, looking as if he could not see anything and did not want to see anything. Still nothing. You liar. I hate liars the most. Kaiyan snorted delicately and grabbed the snake blade beside him. As a peak Do-D, Shuri was still alive. It was just very painful. However, his entire body was suppressed and he was unable to move at all. Only now did he realize how powerful this little girl was. Their strength was simply not on the same level. It must be in your body, right? Little liar. Do you think I don't know? Kai-Yun grinned, but in Shuri's eyes, this grin was a terrifying, sinister grin. No. I won't lie to you. Please don't hurt me. Hee. Kai-Yun held the serpent blade in his hand and gently sliced open Shuri's robe. He didn't expect Shuri to have muscles. Everyone held their breaths. With such a thing happening, no one dared to rush down to save him. This was the intimidation that came from Kai-Yun, and he was much stronger than Yi Zizi. At the very least, his method of killing made one's scalp go numb. Kai-Yun held the serpent blade in his hand and pressed it against Shuri's Adam's apple. It's definitely inside your body, and I've discovered it, right? No. Kai-Yun revealed a young and tender smile, directly stabbing in, and then slicing open. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Ripper, an expert at the peak of the Emperor realm, had his limbs amputated, and then his chest cut open in front of everyone. This wasn't a little girl. This was a savage demon. Sure, you couldn't bear to watch anymore, and directly turned around. Meanwhile, although Xiang Liren was still watching, his gaze revealed an expression of shock. This was truly the first time he had seen such a scene, and the degree of shock was incomparable. Then he looked at the man and woman on the city wall. That man was hugging the woman and looking at the scene with a smile, not showing the slightest bit of disgust. Meanwhile, that woman was the same, appearing to be very calm. F***ck. Just who are these people? Why can they be so cruel to such an extent? However, Xiang Liren was also thinking that if Voidless Empire couldn't do it, then the cruelty would fall on them, and even on him. After all, this was a place where strength reigned supreme. The people who were originally clamoring all quietened down. Cold wind whistled on the battlefield. Kai-Yun took a glance and said, there's nothing at all. Liar. I'm not playing with you anymore. Kai-Yun directly tossed away the serpent blade and walked to the side. dragging the silver-winged great snake. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. Crimson soul fire. Kai Yun shouted out sweetly, and golden flames emitted from both of his hands. These weren't mystical flames, but they were more than enough to roast the silver-winged great snake. The golden flames instantly enveloped the silver-winged great snake's body, and the armor turned red from the heat, then melted in the end. A fragrance gradually drifted in the air. This was the fragrance of snake meat. Kai Yun was already swallowing his saliva. Shi, who was lying on the ground, had yet to die, but he could still smell the fragrance of snake meat. She actually roasted my own snake. That was a silver-winged great snake that I had raised for several hundred years. Just like my own child, it was actually roasted alive right now. Pfff. A mouthful of blood spurted out from Shi's mouth. Kai Yun could see that the heart was beating intensely, and then it became slower and slower, then finally stopped. However, a golden ball flew out from the center of Shi's brows. Primordial spirit. Kai Yun naturally saw it. It sure ran fast. Kai Yun could be seen pouting, then fiercely inhaled. The primordial spirit that was running away was instantly sucked back by a strong suction force. Shi's primordial spirit could be seen struggling crazily. However, it was completely useless. It entered Kai Yun's small mouth. Kai Yun licked the corner of his mouth. The taste is not bad. Let's go and eat snake meat. Kai Yun directly dragged the silver-winged great snake back to the city. Everyone just watched like this. Gradually, the tail of the silver-winged great snake disappeared at the city gate. However, the city gate was still open. Mu Xinhai seemed to have understood something. They didn't care at all. On the battlefield, Shi's corpse was still on the spot. Everyone had yet to react and were still immersed in shock. Mu Xinhai turned his head again and actually saw Fan Jin resting with his eyes closed. He was a little more at ease. As expected of a great god. Even I am shocked, but he doesn't panic at all. He doesn't even care to look at me anymore. As expected of Fan Jin, an existence at the peak of the Dozun class. I have to properly learn from this calmness. Why did this little girl leave? Shi asked curiously. Shouldn't they continue fighting? Xiang Liren sighed. Let's go back and eat breakfast. Could it be that eating breakfast is really so important? I don't think we need to eat breakfast. Shi couldn't understand. Why didn't Xiang Liren take advantage of his victory and continue attacking? There is still a peak of the Dozun class here. If you are a Jizun, you should continue fighting. Why eat breakfast? Oh my god, on the city gate tower, Yuhua smiled and said, Hubby, I will go down first. You can slowly play by yourself. End of this chapter. Chapter 870. Alright, don't tell others. Yuhua laughed lightly. Alright, I won't tell others. After saying that, she even kissed Lai Gu's cheek. This made Lai Gu very happy. Yuhua is really a good woman. I like her more and more. She is too sensible. After Yuhua left, the smile on Lai Gu's face gradually disappeared, and he stared at everyone. That match just now doesn't count. Everyone. After Shi and Xiang Liren heard it, they didn't have any emotions. Such a person, you can play however you want, it's still up to you. On the other hand, the remaining 800,000 people were all quiet. Everyone had a deep fear, especially when they saw the corpse of the Dodi. They felt that it was so unreal. A peak Dodi was toyed to death just like that. A Dodi was toyed to death. Everyone couldn't accept such a fact. Could it be that all Dodi are made of paper? Are they so easy to bully? Hey, why aren't you guys talking? Show me some spirit. Let me get excited. Lai Gu shouted again. Just 2 matches and everyone is scared. This won't do. If you guys are scared, then what am I going to do? It's all Yi Zizi and Kai Yun's fault. These 2 little girls scared people to the point of peeing. Don't they know how to act? Let them feel that there's hope. Then it'll be interesting to fight like this. Although they are very weak, there's still something to play with. I'm so bored that my balls are about to break. Hey, don't leave the stage cold. Quickly send the next one up. Lai Gu shouted loudly. It's finally my turn. I'm so excited. I feel that my life has reached the climax. Facing Lai Gu's shout, Mu Xinhai didn't know how to reply. He felt that if he said it out, he would definitely be slapped. What should I do now? I still have to ask for help from Fan Jin, who is behind me. There's no other way. I can only rely on Fan Jin to win this match. If not, I'll lose all my face. Thinking until here, Mu Xinhai turned his head and looked at Fan Jin, who was resting with his eyes closed, then softly shouted, Fan Jin, why don't? Before Mu Xinhai could finish his sentence, Fan Jin's eyes snapped open. A vast aura came out from those eyes. This was a huge battle intent. Mu Xinhai could feel that this was the anger of a peak Dozun. All of you have already provoked a ferocious Dozun. He would definitely receive the fury of a Dozun. Today, this Wushu Empire would turn into a raging fire that would burn for 3 days and 3 nights. Everyone would be buried with him. Great God Fan Jin, I'll be counting on you from now on. Mu Xinhai said in a low voice. Fan Jin did not say anything and slowly walked in front of Mu Xinhai. Looking at Fan Jin straight back, Mu Xinhai heaved a sigh of relief. Luckily, they managed to invite God Fan Jin over this time. Otherwise, things would have been difficult. This voidless empire actually had such a character. Just how powerful was the man standing on the city gate tower? Right now Lin Fan still did not know. Also, he did not know how strong that woman from earlier was. How many more people like her were there in the voidless empire? It was only at this moment that Mu Xinhai realized that he truly did not know anything at all. He did not know anything about the voidless empire at all. And then he charged over right away. He lacked information. Actually, in Mu Xinhai's eyes, no matter how strong an empire could have, they would at most be Dosher. The slightly better ones would be Do Wang and Do Huang. Therefore, he was not worried at all. In the end, a peak Do Zong on his side was shattered with a single punch. There was also a peak Do Di who was directly amputated. Even his primordial spirit was devoured. This was too terrifying. If it was possible, Mu Xinhai wanted to retreat. However, 200,000 of his disciples had died. If he were to retreat now, he would become the laughingstock of the northern region. He could not afford to bear the consequences. Right now he could only rely on great God Fan Jin. When Xiang Liren and Shiryu saw Fan Jin standing out, their gazes gradually became solemn. Looks like they were going to play their cards, and they even used their king. Fan Jin has stepped out. I'm afraid that the voidless empire will have to treat this seriously. Shiryu said quietly. This Fan Jin is a peak Dozun. He is not on the same level as this Shir. If the voidless empire wishes to win, they must send out a Jizun. If there is no Jizun, it would be hard to say. Xiang Liren said in a deep voice. He was a little worried. The main reason was that the girl who loved to eat breakfast had left. Otherwise, he would not be worried. The strength that the little girl had displayed earlier was at least that of a Jizun. She would definitely be able to fight against Fan Jin. However, she ran away to eat breakfast. You guys are in danger of having your city destroyed. Yet you ran away just like that. You guys don't have any sense of responsibility at all. Also, the Emperor of the Voidless Empire. He has already fought his way to our doorstep, yet he still hasn't appeared. At the very least, he should have come out to take a look at the situation. What is this? Attacking the city, defending the city. This is simply child's play. Is this Fan Jin really that powerful? Shiryu asked doubtfully. She did not understand. Xiang Liren laughed softly. This Fan Jin has reached the peak of the Dozun class a long time ago. Regardless of whether it is in terms of combat experience or other aspects, he can be considered a pseudo-Jizun. Therefore, only a Jizun can win. If it is an ordinary peak Dozun, it is likely that they will not be able to defeat Fan Jin. So that is the case. In that case, we will have to see who the Voidless Empire sends out. Shiryu's gaze landed on the city gate tower. Will they send out a powerful Jizun? Aya, why would I have such a terrifying thought? Jizun are not cabbages that can be found on the streets. How can there be so many of them? At this moment, Fan Jin looked towards the man on the city gate tower and shouted out gravely. Is there something that you did not tell me? Hearing Fan Jin's words, everyone became doubtful. What is going on? Is this a declaration before a battle? Why does it feel so strange? Mu Xinhai felt that a god is a god. Even the declaration before a battle is different from others. Even I am unable to guess it. Lai Gu was a little confused. What did I not tell him? What does he mean? Oi, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Lai Gu asked back. Fan Jin shouted out again. What is that over there? Fan Jin could be seen pointing towards the spectator seats. Lai Gu said confusedly. That is the spectator seats. But why don't I know? Is it because I came late? You guys are too unreasonable. Fan Jin rebuked angrily. You guys are simply too shameless. I came here halfway. You guys should at least inform me and let me make a choice, right? Fan Jin's words caused everyone to be a little stupefied, especially Mu Xinhai. He felt that his brain was a little unable to react. Xiang Liren and Sure You were also the same. What is this Fan Jin planning to do? Why did he suddenly talk about the spectator seats? End of this chapter. Chapter 871. Lai Gu was a little speechless. What is this person trying to do? He even has the mood to chat. Fan Jin's heart sank when he saw that the other party did not speak. The only thing that can save me now is the audience seats. Be it losing face or being mocked by others, life is the most important thing. Then what do you want to do? Lai Gu asked. Say it again. Lai Gu was helpless and said indifferently. All right, seeing that you don't know what is going on, I will say it again. The audience seats are the audience. I will not hurt you. Give. Before Lai Gu could finish his words, Fan Jin's silhouette had already disappeared. In an instant he appeared beside Sure You. His speed was so fast that it made people speechless. This was probably the speed of a peak dozun, or even faster. Lai Gu's mouth twitched. Damn it. I got tricked. Mu Xinhai opened his mouth wide. The god that he believed in actually ran to the audience seats. And he did it at such a fast speed. Do other people know that you are so outstanding? To actually be in cahoots with some traitors. If this matter were to spread, how are you going to survive in the north? There were still very few people who knew Fan Jin's identity. At least in the eyes of those 800,000 people, he was another deserter. But for some reason, they were very envious. They really wanted to be an audience. Just standing there would be danger at any moment. Just like those two battleships just now, before the people inside could react, they turned into air and disappeared. Who knows what will happen later? Sure You and Xiang Liren were also very shocked. A legendary person actually stood together with them. They suddenly realized that they were not embarrassed anymore. Instead, they were very proud. Because there were only 3 smart people among the 1 million people. Even if they lost face, there was still a peak dozun accompanying them. How comfortable it was. I am an audience. Fan Jin said indifferently. I am definitely going to be an audience. No one can drag me away, no matter who pleads for me, it will be useless. Luckily I ran away quickly just now, giving the other party no chance to retort. In front of so many people, you will probably feel embarrassed to go back on your words. It was really scary just now. My speed reached a peak value. As expected, only fear can stimulate my potential. Actually, Sure You was very excited now. Standing beside him was a peak do di and a peak dozun. The most glorious moment of his life had appeared. Mu Xinhai's chest started heaving up and down. He had never thought that even Fan Jin would choose to be a spectator. Fan Jin, why did you do that? Mu Xinhai asked in a deep voice. He really couldn't understand. Could it be that he had been frightened by the other party? But you are a pseudo-sovereign. As long as the opponent does not have a sovereign, you will still have the upper hand. Fan Jin looked at Mu Xinhai and shouted. You're asking me why? I was dragged here by you without knowing anything. You're trying to frame me. How dare you try to plunder such a magnificent empire? I, Fan Jin, despise people like you, and will never associate myself with you. Please don't talk to me anymore, because you're not worthy. Mu Xinhai's entire person was in a bad mood. This Fan Jin was actually anxious to draw a clear line between them. Simply shameless. Back then when you were injured, didn't I help you? If it weren't for me, I'm afraid you would have died. Such a life-saving favor was actually abandoned at this time. Scum. What a scumbag. She was even more of a scumbag than that little girl. This is a hypocrite. Today, I finally saw it clearly. If I knew that this day would come, I wouldn't have saved him back then. I should have just let him die on the spot. Look at how hypocritical he is. He doesn't even have the intention to humiliate me. And he even has an upright and plain-spoken expression. Mu Xinhai felt that his lungs were going to explode from anger. Right now, Lai Gu was also feeling the same. I was still too honest, and I was actually tricked. But luckily among these people, that boss is still here. Later on, I'll just play with boss for a bit, and then I'll smoothly end this battle. This is really a little boring. Originally, I still wanted to play with this expert. But in the end he ran to the spectator seats. He's really too cowardly. Opposite. Now only you are left, come and fight. Lai Gu shouted towards Mu Xinhai. Let us fight to our heart's content. To be able to die under my sharp claws, that's also your happiness. Mu Xinhai was also a proud person. Although Fan Jin ran away, he didn't give in at all. Instead, the flames in his chest continued to rise by quite a bit. His body trembled. Mu Xinhai directly descended, clenched his fist and shouted. Yuanyang Manor will definitely win. Following Mu Xinhai's words, the disciples behind him immediately followed along and shouted loudly. Yuanyang Manor will definitely win. Yuanyang Manor will definitely win. Yuanyang Manor will definitely win. The powerful voice soared into the clouds, seeming so high. The originally low morale was instantly ignited, and everyone's blood started to boil. This is the Manor Master. He is the soul of their hearts. How can they not be excited? I feel that as long as the Manor Master steps out, no matter how powerful the person is, they will have to kick the bucket. Lai Gu admired this Manor Master for daring to come down even now. On the other hand, that person who ran away just now is really trash. He doesn't have the imposing manner of a Manor Master at all. I have to give you a look of disdain. However, this Fan Jin is quite smart. Knowing that he can't win, he chose to save himself. Forget it. I'll just treat it as releasing a dog. It won't cause any huge waves. Who knows, I might even be able to publicize Wushu Empire's battle achievements. Suddenly, Lai Gu heard footsteps coming from the stairs. His entire body darkened. It's here again. Who exactly is it? Could it be that Yu Hua called me to go and eat breakfast? Didn't I say just now, don't disturb me from acting cool? This is the last time. Lai Gu looked towards his right side, and a beautiful figure appeared. Furthermore, it's the woman that I don't want to see the most, Brett, who was still carrying Ju Tian in his embrace. Lai Gu squeezed out a smile and said, That Brett, what are you doing here? Oh, Yu Hua called you to go and eat breakfast, so she asked me to come over and take a look. Brett said faintly as she stroked Ju Tian with her slender hands. Ju Tian squinted his eyes and had a look of enjoyment on his face. Lai Gu immediately covered his face. Yu Hua, what are you doing? In my Lai Gu's heart, you are a very sensible woman, to actually ask me to go and eat breakfast. I am a bone dragon. Is there really a need for me to care about breakfast? Lai Gu smiled and said, I will go after a while, settle this place first. No need, leave this place to me. Brett felt that it had been a long time since he last fought, and these people in front of him can be of some use. Let me do it. Girls shouldn't fight and kill. Ju Tian doesn't like it either. Lai Gu hurriedly persuaded. Can you guys not be like this? Please give me a chance. End of chapter. Chapter 872. Meow. Ju Tian looked at Lai Gu covetously, seemingly saying, Quickly go and eat your breakfast, my woman wants to move around. Lai Gu felt deep despair. If it was someone else, I can still give an order, but these people are the only ones that I cannot afford to offend. All right, Brett, pay attention to your face. Lai Gu still reminded. Got it. How could Brett not know? Back then, I was in my human form. Those who saw me before would definitely be able to recognize me. Lai Gu took one last look at those people, then went downstairs with reluctance. The entire street was filled with silver-winged snakes, and countless people came over with knives to eat the snake meat while shouting, Long live the Emperor! Lai Gu quickly found Yu Hua. Hubby, why did you come back? Are you done settling everything? Kai Yun and Yu Hua could be seen enjoying delicious food with a comfortable look on their faces. When Lai Gu heard this, he knew that he was fooled again. You bunch of trapdogs, don't let me catch you next time. I'll trap you all to death. Sure, you and Xiang Liren were a bit confused. Why did that man go down? And then, a woman carrying a cat appeared. This woman looks weak and soft. Could it be that she wants to fight? Just as the two finished thinking, Brett carried Ju Tian and descended down from the city gate tower, dressed in a red cheongsam with a slit, paired with a pair of red high heels and a bun. Brett was simply incomparably beautiful. The first two were little girls, and everyone only saw them as underage children. But this woman, that's a mature woman. Look at that slit on her pants. That white skin, seems like it's very stimulating. I really want to go and lick it. Sure, you asked Fan Jin, who was at the side. Great God, Fan Jin, how powerful do you think this woman is? Is she Mu Xinhai's opponent? Fan Jin let out a light sigh, then said slowly, did you two not notice? Did the surrounding space get sealed? When the two heard Fan Jin's words, their expressions sunk, and they immediately went to feel. Indeed, it was just like what Fan Jin said. The surrounding space got sealed. Even a small tadpole can't crawl out. Then we. Xiang Liren muttered. His gaze was filled with astonishment. We don't even know when the surrounding space got sealed. Isn't this strength a little too terrifying? Fan Jin said in a deep voice. Our lives are in the hands of this void empire. Since the great god had already said it like this, Xiang Liren ensured you didn't say anything anymore. Originally, I came here today to trample on voidless empire, but now, yet my life is in the hands of Wushu empire. Even if I'm standing on the spectator seats, I still don't feel very safe, because who knew if they would keep their word? Is there no way to save myself? Xiang Liren asked with a trace of despair. He felt that voidless empire would not let him off. No matter what, they were here to kill, so how could the other party let them go? In the beginning, they were just watching him make a fool of himself and trying to dampen the morale of this side. Hopefully, praying to the heavens would still work. Huh. Where are the four women from before? Sure, you suddenly let out a sound of doubt, mainly because when he saw Brett being so beautiful, he suddenly thought of the woman that night. However, neither Fan Jin nor Xiang Liren knew about this. What woman? Fan Jin asked in a low voice. He wanted to know what kind of existence this Wushu empire was. Oh, you two still don't know about this matter. It was during the night a few days ago, when we were fighting over the strange fire. Sure, you told them about what happened. After listening to what happened, Fan Jin and Xiang Liren's brows tightly locked together. Why do I feel like I fell into someone else's trap? That man in the wheelchair is not simple at all. Fan Jin didn't even think about the matter regarding the strange fire, and he only felt that that man was very terrifying. Xiang Liren said gravely, that's right, from what you said. That man's strength is most likely the strongest. I feel like he is trying to lure Yuanyang Manor over here. But what is his purpose? Sure, you didn't understand. Fan Jin paused for a moment, then said faintly, Yuanyang Manor came to Voidless Empire today. I'm afraid that half of the northern region knows about it, because this news was spread by Mu Xinhai himself. And this Voidless Empire is located in a place like Northern Liang, and they lack the recognition of the outside world. Xiang Liren said casually. The three's eyes immediately lit up. They seemed to have understood Voidless Empire's purpose. Sure, you said gravely. This Voidless Empire is trying to use Yuanyang Manor to make a name for themselves. Fan Jin and Xiang Liren didn't speak. If they didn't guess wrongly, that should be the reason. If that was really the case, the three looked at the remaining 800,000 disciples. I'm afraid that not a single one of them would be able to leave here alive today. And this Mu Xinhai didn't know anything at all. And he just brought his men and rushed over here. But this Mu Xinhai couldn't be blamed for being impulsive. Both of his protectors had died. No matter what, he had to take revenge. And it just so happened that he discovered that this Voidless Empire was very good. That's killing two birds with one stone. If it's possible, I really want to go in and take a look. Fan Jin said faintly. He was filled with curiosity towards Voidless Empire. What kind of empire was this exactly? On the battlefield, Brett carried Ju Tian and looked at Mu Xinhai, who wasn't far away. Just now, when he carried Ju Tian out for a stroll, he saw that there was a huge snake on the street, and everyone was eating snake meat. After asking Kai Yin about it, he directly walked up the city gate tower and sent Lai Gu away. After all, it had been a long time since he last exercised. His body was about to become rusty. Although this person in front of him was very weak, at least he could still exercise a little. Mu Xinhai looked at the woman in front of him. His expression was rather heavy. What strength this woman has, I don't know. What is that cat in her arms, I don't know. What kind of weapon does this woman have, I don't know. I don't even know about the entire Voidless Empire. I was really too careless this time. I shouldn't have rushed over so anxiously. At the very least, I should have investigated first. Be good, sit on my shoulder. Brett said gently as he kissed Ju Tian, who was in his embrace. Ju Tian let out a lazy moan, then squatted on Brett's shoulder, and looked at Mu Xinhai, who was in front of him with a bored expression. Brett didn't have any good impressions of people. In her eyes, these people were all ants under the heavens. Whether they were alive or dead, it made no difference to Brett. Therefore, since these people dared to come, there was no need for them to return. Mu Xinhai locked onto Brett tightly, and two blades actually appeared in his hands. Scarlet flame blades. It was an extremely rare primordial godly item. After all, it was a pair of blades, and normally, there would only be one blade. Furthermore, these scarlet flame blades were emitting out a faint red glow, and it seemed like they had been tempered 5 times already. Mu Xinhai held onto the scarlet flame blades in his hands tightly, and he felt a sense of confidence growing from the bottom of his heart. What are you guys here for? Brett asked faintly. Mu Xinhai was a bit puzzled. Is there even a need to ask? I am here to massacre the city. Mu Xinhai didn't avoid the topic and directly spoke out his purpose. End of this chapter. Chapter 873. Brett chuckled. Massacre the city? I really miss the days of massacring cities. It's a pity that you guys can't be here. Don't even think about doing it. Mu Xinhai waved the scarlet flame dual blades in his hands, releasing arcs of light. Puff! A ferocious wave of air swept out, causing Brett's Cheongsam to flutter. Those shining white thighs were really enough to make one drool. However, only the cat on his shoulder dared to play with this pair of legs. After all, Brett's temper was not very good, and he would lose his temper easily. Just like now, he was a little unhappy. Whether you can do it or not will depend on your ability. As the sound of his voice faded, a powerful aura erupted from Mu Xinhai. It spread out in all directions, and even the sky stopped snowing. The clouds gradually dispersed, and sunlight shone on the earth. Brett said indifferently, "My ability is not something you can hope for. I'm afraid you can't bear it." As soon as he finished speaking, an aquamarine bow formed in Brett's hand. This bow was Brett's true weapon. Profound Rainbow Treasured Moon. A top-notch primordial artifact, not a third-rate primordial artifact. Speaking of this bow, there was a story behind it. The owner of this bow was Brett's sister. Back then, absolute heaven had saved Brett. In the end, Brett had killed his own sister, and this weapon had also fallen into Brett's hands. Actually, this bow was given to Brett, but it was snatched away by his sister. When the profound rainbow treasured moon appeared, Mu Xinhai's aura vanished without a trace. The entire world was suppressed by the profound rainbow treasured moon in Brett's hands, causing everyone to tremble. This was a primordial divine weapon. They were not on the same level at all. You. Prehistoric divine artifact. Mu Xinhai asked blankly, his eyes filled with shock. At least you have some foresight. Brett's right hand was already on the bowstring. To be precise, there was no bowstring, but when Brett touched it, a strand of hair appeared. Moreover, when they came into contact, a wave of righteous chi suddenly erupted, sweeping through the entire scene. The oppressive atmosphere made everyone feel as if their hearts were about to explode. Was this the pressure of an ancient divine artifact? Mu Xinhai arched his body slightly. It wasn't that he wanted to, but that he couldn't bear it. He couldn't resist it at all. Even Fan Jin, who was standing far away, could clearly feel it. Is this a primeval artifact? Xiang Liren murmured. Although Fan Jin didn't say anything, he looked at the bow with a complicated expression. There was envy, jealousy, and yearning. It would be great if he could have a primordial divine weapon. Shiryu's entire body froze. This time he really froze. He was suppressed by this aura to the point that he couldn't move. Ancient Era Divine Weapon. This was actually the legendary Ancient Era Divine Weapon. What the hell was up with this voidless empire? They even had something like a great desolate divine equipment, and it was even held by a woman. Just now, those two little girls didn't even reveal their weapons. Does it mean that they don't have any weapons, or do they also have ancient divine weapons? The shock brought about by Void Empire was too intense. Brett slowly drew his bow, and a destructive aura condensed on the profound rainbow treasure moon. The entire world shook, and everyone fell into a momentary daze. This was the passive ability of the profound rainbow treasure moon. It was truly impossible to defend against. Even the Do Zun Mushinhai was absent-minded. As Brett loosened his grip, a green arrow flew out. The speed was so fast that no one was able to catch it. The air seemed to have been scorched, and the beautiful green arrow was intoxicating. However, the arrow carried the color of death. Mushinhai could see that the arrow was flying toward him. He wanted to raise his hands to block it, but it was as if his hands were being held by someone, and he was unable to raise them at all. Facing a great desolate divine equipment, I actually don't even have the chance to resist. How is this possible? The green arrow flew past Mushinhai's face. Although it didn't touch Mushinhai's face, a trace of blood had still appeared on Mushinhai's face. The arrow was flying toward one of the battleships. Boom! The arrow instantly penetrated through the defense of the battleship and exploded within the battleship. The huge battleship turned into a fireball in the sky, and the surrounding temperature instantly rose. Bang! The fireball smashed onto the ground and ignited a raging fire. In an instant, hundreds of thousands of people disappeared. Mushinhai finally felt that strength had returned to his body, and this was the strength that came from anger. Brett didn't say anything and drew his bow once again. Mushinhai instantly felt that his strength was being sucked dry again. If you have the guts, come at me. Mushinhai shouted at Brett. Brett said coldly, when you chose to come, you had already dragged them into hell. I am only completing my mission, but you have failed. I will bear all the consequences. Why did you kill my disciples? Because I am happy. After Brett finished speaking, another arrow was shot out. Boom! Dazzling sparks bloomed in the sky, and another 100,000 people died. Mushinhai was completely stunned. If this was a battle between two armies, it would be acceptable if there were casualties on both sides. However, this wasn't the case at all. This was a complete massacre, using a great desolate divine equipment to kill some Doshur and a Doshur. You vicious woman, you will die a horrible death. Mushinhai cursed angrily. Are you vicious or am I vicious? You have already fought your way to my doorstep. Don't tell me you want me to lay down my weapons and surrender, and let you slaughter the commoners? As Brett's words fell, he drew his bow once again. When the people on the battleship saw this, they all knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Everyone's face was filled with fear and the desire to live. Some of them even begged bitterly. Don't kill me. We are only obeying the prefecture master's orders. Let me go. I will be married next month. I will be a father next month. However, Brett could not hear these words. Before you want to kill others, you should be prepared to be killed. Brett's hand loosened. Bye. Boom. Another battleship was set ablaze. Brett looked as if she was shooting at a target, appearing very relaxed. However, to Mushinhai, this woman was a killing maniac. Each arrow took away 100,000 lives, and those were all Yuanyang residents' disciples. It was all his power. If you have the ability, fight me one-on-one. Brett laughed coldly. One-on-one? Do you have the right? You can't even block one arrow. Bye. Another arrow. Boom. Just like that, Fanjin and the other two could only watch on as Brett killed them with arrow after arrow. This sort of method was simply hair-raising. After all, each arrow killed 100,000 people. No matter how ruthless she would not be able to do this. However, this woman did not have the slightest bit of pity, and even seemed to be enjoying this moment. What exactly had cultivated this woman, and the cat on her shoulder? That expression was so human-like, and it was even yawning out of boredom. Mushinhai had no strength left to kneel on the ground. He did not even have time to unleash a single move before he knelt in front of Brett. End of this chapter. Chapter 874. Me. Mushinhai, Yuan Yang Manor Master is begging you. Let my disciple go. You can take my life. Mushinhai shouted. He was a courageous person. In order to save his own disciple, he was willing to sacrifice his life. This made Fan Jin admire him a little. Xiang Liren and Sure You were the same. This woman made a Dozun kneel down and beg for mercy. Her goal was achieved. However, this wasn't Brett's goal. Those who dared to cause trouble in Wusu Empire should be prepared to die. Is his honor's territory a place where you can come and go as you please? Then you are too daring. If his honor was here, your death would be called hopeless. I am just giving you a quick death. Brett ignored Mu Xinhai, who was begging for mercy, and pulled the bow once again. Mu Xinhai, who was kneeling down, clenched his fists as he listened to the explosion behind him. Those arrows, although they didn't hit me, it was more painful than if they hit me. Enough. It was unknown where Mu Xinhai got the strength from, but he actually stood up. Because right now there was only one battleship left. All the disciples on the battleship were crying. There was nothing they could do. They were killed by a woman just like that. There were 9 balls of flames burning on the ground. Those were 900,000 people. Originally, they came over happily and were prepared to kill in all directions. Now they didn't even get down from the battleship. Furthermore, the enemies only appeared a little, and they died just like that. Unwillingness. Even dying under the blade of the enemy was better than dying like this. Stop killing. Mu Xinhai shouted angrily. Why? Brett asked indifferently. My life in exchange for the remaining 100,000 people. Mu Xinhai said solemnly. Brett slowly put down the mysterious moon. Then I can consider it. Mu Xinhai took a deep breath and turned to look at Fan Jin. Suddenly, he knew why Fan Jin had to run. Because these people weren't a match for him at all. They didn't even have the strength to resist. My decision was wrong. I implicated my own disciple. I am a failed manor master, a failed manor master. Mu Xinhai let out a long sigh. His right hand turned into a palm and fiercely slapped towards the top of his head. Bang! A shockwave instantly spread out. Mu Xinhai looked at the sky in a daze. My life actually fell in front of an empire. This was something I didn't expect. When Sure You saw Mu Xinhai commit suicide, his entire person was half dumbfounded. He had forced a Dozun to death. He had never heard of it. Even a storyteller wouldn't make up such a ridiculous story. But today it happened right in front of his eyes. Didn't this mean something? Xiang Liren sighed softly. Dozun. In the Kangluo continent he was a person of status. In order to save his disciple, Mu Xinhai chose to commit suicide. This courage was not something that ordinary people could do. Even if he couldn't do it, after all, his life was the most important. Today he had a different view of Mu Xinhai. Fan Jin felt the same way. Looking at the fallen Mu Xinhai, he sighed in his heart. Don't blame me for not remembering our past relationship. My opponent was simply too strong, and I had no choice. If I had known that something like this would happen, I wouldn't have done anything about it. I would never have come. As Mu Xinhai's body collapsed, a small golden ball floated out. This was Mu Xinhai's primordial spirit. Brett said lightly, I've thought about it. After saying that, he raised his bow again. Mu Xinhai's primordial spirit roared angrily. You untrustworthy woman. You will go to hell after you die. Brett's arrow directly stopped Mu Xinhai's primordial spirit. And along with the last battleship, the battleship turned into flames. Meanwhile, there were still some battleships from small sects that were kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. Brett didn't say anything and just shot an arrow towards the sky. A perfect arc appeared. And the arrow could be seen turning into countless arrows in the sky, falling down with a terrifying aura. Everyone could see the arrowhead clearly. They watched it fall, and the sky suddenly burst with countless explosions. Out of the millions of people, only 3 were left. Fan Jin, Xiang Liren, and Sure Yu's faces were all tensed up. It was their turn now. Brett didn't say anything and continued to pull the bow. Looking at this scene, the 3 were so scared that they peed in their pants. Fan Jin's strength was the strongest, and thus he was still able to finish his sentence. On the other hand, Xiang Liren and Sure Yu didn't even have the strength to speak. Senior. This is the spectator seats. We agreed that we wouldn't kill them. Fan Jin hurriedly explained. This is the spectator seats, do you see that? The three big words are so obvious. Meow. At this moment Ju Tian suddenly called out. Brett pouted his mouth, then turned his head around and kissed Ju Tian. Meanwhile, Ju Tian had a look of disgust on his face, as if Brett had dirted his fur. Since the three were going to stay, Brett didn't say anything. The profound rainbow-treasured moon that was in his hand disappeared, and Brett flew back towards the city gate and disappeared. Fan Jin and the other two let out a breath of relief. Although they didn't know why that woman suddenly stopped, it was still a good thing. In the end, they were still able to stay alive. Fan Jin sensed for a bit, and the spatial seal has already been released. This means that I can really leave now. However, Fan Jin looked towards Wushu Empire, wanting to go in and take a look. Not only Fan Jin thought so, Xiang Liren and Shiryu also thought so. However, they still don't dare to leave today. It wasn't easy for them to leave. What if they regret their decision later on? Therefore, they have to leave right now. We will meet again in the future. Fan Jin cupped his hands and said, then immediately disappeared. Xiang Liren also didn't dare to stay any longer. Goodbye. After finished speaking, Xiang Liren left as well. Shiryu stood at the scene by himself, and went into a daze for a while, then ran away as well. Why would I dare to come to such a terrifying place? In the future, I won't come here even if I am beaten to death. 1,000,000 people came, and in the end only 3 people were left. This was already the best result. Right now in the city, the streets were filled with people. The silver-winged snake was divided among the people in the city, and Lai Gu and Yu Hua were currently enjoying the meat. There was also Lai Gu and Yu Hua. However, Lai Gu had a stern face and had a look of hidden bitterness on his face. Everything was messed up by you guys. It was clearly I, Lai Gu, who discovered the silver-winged snake. You bunch of shameless people, especially Brett. To actually lie to me, shameless. To not even let me play with a piece of trash. You guys are simply too bad. The people in the city were completely not worried that someone would invade into the city, and they were happily eating the snake meat. The snake meat was truly too fragrant. This was the best food that they had ever eaten. Of course it was the best food. After all, this was a battle emperor snake. Eating it would be extremely nourishing. Especially for ordinary people. After eating it, their lifespan would increase every year, and they would be immune to all kinds of diseases. Within the imperial palace, Yihua slowly opened his eyes, and Qin Yutong who was on his chest was actually drooling, and there was even a puddle of saliva on his chest. Qin Yutong. Yihua couldn't help but shout out. Qin Yutong didn't shout out, but instead, she woke up Qinye and Donghuang Baiji who were beside her. Yihua, what happened? Qinye thought that something happened and hurriedly asked. End of chapter. Chapter 875. Look at your sister. Why is he the same as you? Yihua couldn't help but complain. I am a man who has mysophobia, and looking at the saliva on my chest, I am a bit dizzy. Qinye smiled helplessly, then poked Qin Yutong's head. Sob sob sob, in your head, quickly get up. Qinye shouted out. Qin Yutong touched onto her mouth. I'm so tired, brother-in-law is too good at messing around. I can't take it anymore. Qin Yutong, look at what you have done. Yihua said gravely. Qin Yutong opened her beautiful eyes and secretly took a peek. Damn, what a big puddle of saliva. Brother-in-law doesn't seem to like this the most. Brother-in-law, how about I suck it away for you? Yihua was angered to the point of laughing. Qinye even reprimanded. Qin Yutong, are you serious? Big sister, I was just joking. I will go and get something to wipe brother-in-law's saliva. After finished speaking, Qin Yutong ran down from the bed and took a towel to wipe Yihua's saliva. However, originally, it was only a puddle of dirt, but in the end, it became bigger and bigger after being rubbed by Qin Yutong. Brother-in-law, let's talk things out, don't hit me. Qin Yutong hurriedly begged for forgiveness. Yihua held onto his forehead. Why did I end up with a sister-in-law like this? Go and prepare water for me to take a bath. Yihua didn't want to speak anymore. Alright, Yutong didn't do it on purpose. Don't be angry anymore. As the elder sister, Qinye still had to speak up for her younger sister. Yihua waved his hand. Who asked me, the Supreme Overlord? To have such a bitter life. I married 3 goddess-like women. However, you all might not know this, but these 3 women even drool when they sleep at night. Luckily, it was not the 3 of us who were drooling at the same time. If such a thing were to happen here. After Yi Hua finished bathing, under the help of his 3 wives, Yi Hua put on the emperor robe. I'm a bit hungry, I want to eat a pancake today, the kind with eggs and ham. Yi Hua muttered, then pushed open the door of the palace. Master, Daji, who was standing outside, said respectfully. Towards Daji's loyalty, Yi Hua was also helpless. He told her to go back to her room to sleep, and even if he beat her to death, she wouldn't go back. It was as if someone could pose a threat to the main body. What are we eating this morning? Yi Hua asked curiously. Master, Blood Devil made snake soup. Snake soup? Yi Hua was very puzzled. Why did they suddenly start making snake soup? Suddenly, Yi Hua smelled a whiff of fragrance, and it smelled just like the smell of barbecued meat. Qingya, did you smell something? Yi Hua asked curiously. Qingya nodded her head. And there seems to be the smell of barbecue, and it is rather fragrant. Who is barbecuing? Yi Hua immediately looked towards the city and saw a black thing lying on the street, and there were many people beside it. Without thinking too much, Yi Hua directly floated over. When Yi Hua saw the silver-winged serpent, his brows tightly wrinkled. When the people below saw a man who was dressed in an emperor's robe, they were first startled for a moment. Within Voidless Empire, who would be able to dress like this? That must be the emperor. Everyone kneeled down in joy and shouted, "My emperor! Hooray! Hooray! Long live!" Yi Hua lightly raised his hand, and everyone was lifted up by a formless power. Once again sensing the emperor's ability, the look of respect on Yi Hua's face became even heavier. Yi Hua floated towards the city gate tower, and when he saw the fire outside, his face immediately darkened. And Lai Gu, who was eating the snake meat, seemed to be able to sense it. You are finished. His honor is going to stew you later." Yi Hua poked onto Lai Gu's forehead. Lai Gu had a bitter look on his face as he hugged onto Yi Hua and sighed. "Yi Hua, save me. Apologize to his honor properly later," Yi Hua said with a slight smile. She looked at her flagmaster, who was still happily eating the snake meat. "Why am I so unlucky today? I got screwed by Qing Yutong in the morning. And the person that I called over to act cool is actually gone. I have already thought of how I will appear. And even my lines have already been thought of. I have already taken off half of my pants, and you show me this. Where are they? All of them are dead. If that is the case, why am I still acting cool? I took such a big detour. Didn't I just want to have some fun? Start the meeting." Yi Hua shouted out angrily in his heart, then disappeared from the city gate tower. If Fan Jin and the others didn't leave, they probably wouldn't be able to leave anymore. Yi Hua would probably have to use them as practice. Following Yi Hua's shout, all of Yi Hua's subordinates received the order. All of them stopped what they were doing and hurried towards the palace hall for the meeting. Even Qingya and the others received the order. They didn't understand why Yi Hua would fly into such a big temper. Inside the palace hall, Yi Hua's face was gloomy as he looked at all of his subordinates. However, all of the people who did bad things lowered their heads and remained silent. They clearly felt that his honor was going to fly into a rage, and it was the kind of rage that couldn't be appeased. "What happened outside? Who did it?" Yi Hua shouted out. All of Yi Hua's subordinates didn't dare to make a sound. Lai Gu felt that he didn't do anything at all, and only watched a show. Therefore, he shouldn't be counted in. "All of you aren't saying anything, right? Seems like I have treated you all too well." As Yi Hua's wife, Qingya had to say something at this time. After all, as a husband and wife, one plays the bad cop and the other plays the good cop. "Yi Hua, calm down, let them calm down. They were all frightened by you." "Humph." Yi Hua snorted coldly. He was a little tsundere. "All right, you all can quickly speak." Yi Zizi suddenly took a step forward and said honestly, "Your Honor, Lai Gu told me to go and fight." "Lai Gu? When did I, Lai Gu, tell you to go and fight? You were clearly the one who jumped down. You actually dare to say that to me." Yi Hua said gravely, "Lai Gu, you actually hid it from me, Do you really think that I don't dare to stew you? Your Honor, please spare me. I didn't tell Yi Zizi to go. She went by herself. Lai Gu hurriedly pleaded. When his honor flies into a rage, everyone has to cower. Yi Hua understood Yi Zizi very well. Who else participated in it? All of you stand out. Kai Yun and Brett both stood out. Yi Hua didn't feel good. Such a good opportunity to act cool. You all enjoy it yourselves. Don't you know that this is an opportunity that I created? Don't you all know that a lot of brain cells have to die to create such an opportunity? The main point is, I even thought of the extravagance, but I didn't do it myself. Kai Yun hurriedly said, Your Honor, it was all Lai Gu. He was the one who told me to go, and he even told me not to tell Your Honor. Brett followed up and said, Kai Yun is right. Lai Gu said that this is a rare opportunity, and he wanted to do it himself. You all. It was clearly you all who wanted to play. I didn't even touch it. Your Honor, I have been wronged. Lai Gu had the heart to cry. After you all finished acting cool, you all still want me to be the scapegoat. You all can't be so shameless. Then, who was the one who discovered it first? Donghuang Baiji asked curiously. Everyone quietened down. Meanwhile, Lai Gu slowly raised his hand. Donghuang Baiji smiled helplessly. Yi Hua shouted out angrily, Lai Gu, you actually dare to think of keeping it for yourself. End of this chapter. Chapter 876. Your Honor, I'm just afraid of disturbing your rest. Let me, your subordinate, take care of these small fries. There is no need for Your Honor's sacred body to appear, lest Your Honor's hands get dirty. Bullshit. You just want to take everything for yourself. Your Honor, it's not like that. We are all serving Your Honor. Lai Gu didn't even have the heart to die. If I am done acting cool, it would be worth it to be scolded, but I didn't do anything at all, and I am still being scolded. Yi Hua wouldn't really do anything to Lai Gu. After all, Lai Gu is my subordinate. I'll just scold him for him to remember. But I still feel unhappy in my heart. When I was hugging my wife to sleep, those people came. And when I went out to take a look, there wasn't even a trace of them left. At this moment, Wei Chong stood out and said respectfully, Your Honor, Lai Gu was only trying to share Your Honor's burden, and his intention was good. Furthermore, Lai Gu didn't know of Your Honor's plan, so it's pardonable. I hope that Your Honor can quell your anger. Yi Hua also pleaded for her man. Qingye smiled tenderly. Yi Hua, since Lai Gu knows his mistake, just let it go. Yi Hua snorted coldly. You can escape death, but you can't escape punishment. Hearing what his honor said, Lai Gu knew that he was going to be in trouble. But what else could he say? So today isn't a lucky day, but a calamity day. Yi Hua took a look at Yu Hua. I finally know how to punish Lai Gu. Yu Hua, subordinate is here. Yu Hua said respectfully. Lai Gu's heart immediately sunk. What is his honor trying to do? It can't be that he is venting his anger on Yu Hua, right? Your Honor, it's all my fault. Don't punish Yu Hua. Lai Gu hurriedly said. Yi Hua ignored Lai Gu and said gravely, Yu Hua, for the next half a year, stay by Kai Yun's side. Lai Gu and Yu Hua went into a daze. Not only Lai Gu and Yu Hua, everyone else was stunned. This doesn't seem like a punishment, but to Lai Gu, this is simply a huge punishment. On the other hand, Kai Yun said happily, Thank you, Your Honor. Yu Hua had a helpless look on her face. This move of his honor is truly ruthless. Lai Gu turned his head and pondered. It's all right. In any case, I'm already in Voidless Empire. What's there to be afraid of not being able to see Yu Hua? Understood. Yu Hua said respectfully. Yi Hua nodded his head and looked at Lai Gu. Do I still not know what you are thinking about? Do you think that it is that easy? Ha! You are looking down on me too much. Yizizi. Open clouds. Brett. Yi Hua shouted out coldly. The three of them stood up, bowed and said, Your subordinates are here. You guys attacked without my orders, messing up my plans. Tell me, how are you going to settle this? Yi Zizi's big eyes turned, then cupped his hands and said, Your Honor, Zizi is willing to create a new opportunity for Your Honor. Yi Zizi has become smarter, huh? Yi Zizi has become smarter. Yi Zizi just wanted to go out and play, so she seized this opportunity. All right, the three of you. Just create another chance for me. If I can't do it, then don't come back. As for the others, stay back and guard Voidless Empire. Meeting adjourned. Yi Hua waved his hand, and his entire person disappeared from the throne. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji shook their heads. You're already a big boss, yet you're still acting so childish. Didn't I just tell you not to act cool? You're already taking out your anger on your subordinates. I reckon that later on, you're going to take out your anger on your wife. After Qingye and Donghuang Baiji left, Qing Yutong did not leave. Qing Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes towards Yi Zizi, and Yi Zizi's eyebrows twitched in response. However, at this moment, Lai Gu looked as if he was struck by lightning, and he stood on the spot stupidly. For his honor to let Yu Hua stay by Kai Yun's side. Didn't that mean that wherever Kai Yun went, Yu Hua would go? Now that Kai Yun was going to head out, Moonlight would definitely have to follow him. Moreover, Kai Yun had just said that the others would all stay behind to guard the Voidless Empire. Wasn't this building for him? Other than Lai Gu being depressed, Brett was also very depressed. If I had known that such a thing would happen, I wouldn't have participated in it. Right now, I have to separate from absolute heaven. His honor's temper is still as bad as before. Yi Zizi suddenly held onto Kai Yun's shoulder. Let's form a group and go stir up some trouble. Then let Voidless Empire be the scapegoat. Wah, good idea. It will definitely be fun. Kai Yun was also someone who loved to have fun, and the two belonged to the category of people who shared the same rotten tastes. Qing Yutong hurriedly walked over. How can I miss out on such a fun thing? Join the group. Agree to join the group. Yi Zizi grinned. Meanwhile, Kai Yun's smile was very naughty. Qing Yutong said towards Brett. Join the group? What else could Brett say? Only by working together will we be able to quickly finish our task and return. Join the group. Yi Zizi choked. This old woman. Agreed. Yi Zizi said helplessly. Kai Yun was already impatient, and he said towards Yu Hua. Let's go, we have to quickly complete his honor's mission. Yu Hua was helpless as she pulled Lai Gu up, then carried Lai Gu into her embrace and consoled him lightly. This scene caused all of Lai Gu's subordinates to be a little stupefied. It is very common for a man to carry a woman, but this is the first time I have seen a woman carrying a man. I immediately took a photo of this scene, so that I can tease Lai Gu in the future. Being hugged by your wife like this. Where did your manliness go? Take good care of yourself. After I finish my task, I will come back and accompany you. Yu Hua said lightly as she pinched onto Lai Gu's nose. It's all my fault. Lai Gu sighed lightly. Acting cool, it's all good now. In the future, I won't act cool anymore. If there's anything, I will immediately report it to his honor without any delay. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun said at the same time. No, you didn't do anything wrong, well done Lai Gu. All of the benefits were taken away by you two and I Lai Gu. Fortunately, I still have 3 wives. I am really glad that I found a lot of wives back then. If not, I would have to masturbate to pass the time. Qing Yutong was already rubbing her palms together as she asked lightly. Then when are we leaving? Now. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun said at the same time. Brett said faintly. Now where are we going? Do you have a plan? Yi Zizi snorted. When did we need a plan when we do things? What is a plan? Is it edible? And what Yi Zizi said is very right. Kai Yun agreed with what Yi Zizi said. What plan do we need? We can just go wherever we want. Yu Hua said tenderly. Flagmaster, we need a good plan. How about we discuss about it today, and then we will leave tomorrow? We still have to wait until tomorrow, don't? Kai Yun was very obedient to Yu Hua's words, and only Yu Hua was able to move him. Qing Yutong, what are you standing there for? Come back. Qingye could be seen suddenly appearing and shouting towards Qing Yutong. Qing Yutong was depressed. If I had left just now, there wouldn't be any problems, but now everything is fine. End of chapter. Chapter 877. Qing Yutong said softly. Then let's gather tomorrow morning. You guys wait for me, remember? After finished speaking, Qing Yutong ran towards Qingye. Qingye knew what Qing Yutong was going to do. Qing Yutong definitely wanted to go out with Yi Zizi and the others to cause trouble. If Yehua were to find out about this, his butt would definitely be smacked badly. Yi Zizi and Kai Yin were very helpless. They could only wait until tomorrow before leaving. But at least they could go out now. In a high-class restaurant in the Voidless Empire, there sat a well-dressed man. His eyes were like torches, and his face was exceptionally stylish, as though it was the work of the gods. However, this man was actually holding onto a cup of scarlet red wine in his hand. If someone who knew what was good was here, they would definitely exclaim in shock. "Isn't this a goblet? Isn't that red wine inside?" The man looked below. Countless people were currently fighting over the snake meat to eat, but the man did not. He looked towards the palace and revealed excitement in his eyes as he muttered, "It has been 5 years. A whole 5 years. I finally found it." The man drank the cup of red wine fiercely, appearing to be exceptionally excited. He was called Yang Haotian. Back then, Yehua and Yi Zizi came here to fight, and after the fight, they went back. However, they caused Yang Haotian to suffer. Yang Haotian still remembered that day. When his red packet system gave him a notification, he immediately ran towards the destination. In the end, he did not even see a shadow, and the main mission of the red packet system froze from that day onwards. Furthermore, it froze for 5 years. I relied on doing side missions, and now, I am already a dozun. If I could complete the main mission, I would at least be an overlord. Fortunately, a few months ago, his main mission finally responded. He rushed from the south to the north. The long journey even made him dizzy. After a period of observation, I have already confirmed it. The target is in the palace, a girl with 2 ponytails, and my red packet is stuck on her butt. As long as I remove the red packet on her butt, my mission will be completed. But from the looks of it now, that girl should be very strong. Not only that girl, everyone in the palace should be very strong, causing me to not make a move for a long time. I have been thinking about how to smoothly steal that girl's red packet, and the red packet is stuck on her butt. This red packet system is really a scam. But no matter what, he had to try tonight. At most, he could exchange for some items in the system, sneak in, and secretly remove the red packet before running away. No one would have guessed that it would happen without anyone noticing. Thinking of this, Yang Haotian made a decision. He could not continue waiting like this. Otherwise his system would be crippled. Because he had completed all the side quests, if he didn't start the main quest, he wouldn't even be able to complete the side quests. Then his system would be a piece of scrap metal. That's why I must remove that little girl's butt. Oh, that's not it. It was a red packet on his buttocks. Even if he had to sacrifice his life, he would do it. Yang Haotian opened the system interface and looked at the remaining point certificates. He began to think about what kind of equipment he should buy in order to sneak in. However, he only had 7 points left. Yang Haotian propped himself up on the table and touched his chin. There was a little stubble on his chin. He had been too tired these few days. He didn't have that kind of invisibility magic treasure, so the inside of the palace was a tiger's den. If he was not careful, he would fall inside tonight. 7 point certificates. What can I buy with this amount of point certificates? I can't even afford to buy a single hair. Talking about sneaking into a scary place like the palace is simply wishful thinking. Suddenly, a bottle of spray appeared in the system interface. It was called deodorant. It only cost 5 points. Yang Haotian immediately opened the system interface and discovered that this deodorant seemed to be a little useful. It was able to get rid of any abnormal smell. It seems like other than this, I can't afford to buy anything else. After pondering for a while, Yang Haotian already made a decision. I'm going to treat a dead horse as a living horse. He directly used 5 point certificates to buy this bottle of deodorant. Then he went to buy some tools and prepared for the operation at night. As the night approached, Yang Haotian felt a little restless. All the tools were already prepared. Now he just had to wait for midnight. However, this period of time was the hardest to bear. Yang Haotian basically just walked back and forth. Right now, even though he was a dozun, he was still trembling from nervousness. Because the inside of the palace was simply an abyss. And I am going to sneak in tonight and steal the red packet. This is simply a crazy idea. Could it be that I don't have any other choice? There doesn't seem to be any other choice. As the night approached, Wushu Empire had already entered into silence, and the palace was the same as well. Right now, Yang Haoyan was standing outside the walls of the palace with a roll of things in his hand. He was sneakily looking left and right, and with just a look, one could tell that he was here to be a thief. With a flip of his body, Yang Haoyan entered into the palace. Just now, I nearly peed in my pants from fright. Luckily, I managed to enter. After entering the palace, Yang Haoyan became even more nervous, fearing that there would be patrols coming over. However, here came the problem. This palace was not just an ordinary big palace, and the exact location of the palace was still unknown. Seems like I can only slowly explore it. It would be best if I get lucky tonight. If I don't get lucky, then I would be dead. In actuality, there were very few patrols in the palace, because there was basically no need for them. However, Yang Haoyan couldn't use his cultivation technique, because he would be discovered. If he were to be discovered, then he would really be done for, and not just faking it. Suddenly, Yang Haoyan saw an unusual living being and got a huge shock. He hurriedly opened the treasure in his hand, then stuck his entire body onto the wall, and raised both of his hands. A wallpaper that was exactly the same as the wall could be seen. The wallpaper stuck onto the wall and blended in very well. This was Yang Haoyan's secret weapon. No choice, I am really too poor, and I can't think of any other way. I can only draw according to the walls of the palace, then spray deodorant on it. This is already the cheapest method. Hearing the light footsteps, Yang Haoyan was currently trembling with fear. He tried his best to remain calm and not let the wallpaper tremble. However, why is the sound of the footsteps so strange? It seems to have 4 legs. It is indeed 4 legs, the husky Yin Lang. Yin Lang could be seen walking with cheerful steps. Upon thinking about how he was going to go out with his master to have fun tomorrow, he felt bursts of excitement, causing him to be unable to fall asleep right now. What is this smell? Why is it so smelly? Yin Lang sniffed. Why does it feel like there is a stench, such a pungent stench? Yin Lang gradually walked towards Yang Haoyan, and this caused Yang Haoyan's heart to almost jump out. Please don't find me, Ziz. End of this chapter. Chapter 878. A strange sound rang out, and Yang Haoyan smelled a foul smell. It was not a normal kind of pungent smell, and it even splattered onto his feet. Damn it, it's a dog. Yin Lang was indeed peeing, and after peeing he even shook his body, and the expression on his face was really very comfortable. After he was done, Yin Lang gradually walked away. Yang Haoyan let out a breath. This deodorant is really quite effective, just that my feet. What kind of dog is this? Why is the smell so strong, too pungent? Just as Yang Haoyan was preparing to move, he suddenly heard a conversation. He immediately pulled his feet up again, and endured the pungent smell. Little brother, big brother didn't treat you badly tonight, right? Did you drink to your heart's content? Your mood is much better now, right? The people who came were precisely LV Liang and Yi Hong. Recently, Yi Hong's mood was a bit down. As for why he was down, it was because until now, he still hasn't gotten Zishan pregnant. Every time he saw Zishan's resentful gaze, Yi Hong would feel that he was sick, and that he needed to go to the male disease center to take a look. Burp, big brother, do you think that there's something wrong with me? Yi Hong asked drunkenly while holding on to LV Liang. LV Liang consoled. Little brother, just take it easy, which man doesn't have some sickness? I feel that I have prostate cancer. Yang Haoyan heard it. They actually know about prostate cancer, damn it. How is this possible? Big brother, I don't even dare to go back now. I feel that I have really let Zishan down. Even if she wants a child, I can't give it to her. Yi Hong sighed helplessly. As a man, I can't even satisfy such a small request of a woman. I feel guilty in my heart. LV Liang patted on the shoulder of his little brother and said carefully, don't have such thoughts. Maybe you are giving yourself too much pressure, causing the little tadpole to not be vigorous. Look at those 2 women at home. They are all letting nature take its course. Besides, it's not like you are the only one. Look at Do Fusher. Isn't he still the same after so many years? There's also Uncle Wei and Lai Gu. None of them got pregnant. How can a man get pregnant? Big brother, you must be mistaken. I am talking about their wives. Burp. I want to pee. Big brother, I want to pee too. Why does it feel so pungent? Yunlang definitely peed everywhere. Yihong muttered. Come, let's pee together. Cover up Yunlang's pungent smell. Yang Haoyan was speechless. Do you guys have to be so perverted, competing with a dog? Damn it, I still have the red envelope system. How could I end up like this? After being peed on by a dog, I was peed on by a human. Can't you just pick the other side? Why are you fighting with a dog? How can there be such a person? Listening to the approaching footsteps, Yang Haoyan's face darkened. He could even imagine these two guys taking out their guns. He shot a stream of golden liquid at himself. F***ck. I, Yang Haoyan, am the Red Envelope Emperor, and I've been peed on twice today. This was simply a humiliation. He had been humiliated twice. Shameless. God, do they have to draw circles when they pee? Are you guys painting? Big brother, are my eyes playing tricks on me? The color of the wall seems to be fading. Yihong rubbed his eyes and felt that the red paint on the wall was a little blurry. Let me see, haha, seems like we drank too much. LV Shu laughed drunkenly. Yihong also grinned. The two of them peed for a full minute. Yang Haoyan had endured the longest minute of his life. In the future, I will never do such a thing again. After peeing, the two brothers walked away while holding onto each other's shoulders. After the two left, Yang Haoyan immediately threw away the drawing paper in his hand. This is so disgusting. Other than human pee, there is also dog pee. With such a smell mixed together, it simply makes me want to vomit. However, just as Yang Haoyan was ridiculing, a voice suddenly rang out beside his ear. Little brother, I'll give you the money. You lose. LV Shu laughed foolishly. Yihong was helpless as he took out a few gold coins and said, This is all I have. All of them are being controlled by Zishan. Forget it, who asked us to be brothers? Big brother will help you keep the rest of the money. LV Shu took away all of the gold coins, not leaving a single one behind. Yang Haoyan just looked at the two of them. They actually discovered me? How is this possible? At this time, Yunlang also walked back. That arrogant gaze of his seemed to be saying, Little brat, you still want to trick me with such insignificant tricks? Look at my sharp gaze. That is the legend of hungry wolves. Do you know what hungry wolves are? That kind of very hungry wolf. I reckon that you have never seen those fierce eyes of a hungry wolf before, right? Looking at the two people and one dog, Yang Haoyan felt that he had been tricked, and a monstrous rage gathered within his mind. I am the emperor. As the owner of the red packet system, when have I ever suffered such humiliation before? This is simply humiliation. He seems to be very angry, Yihong said in a low voice. LV Shu nodded her head and said in a low voice, If you were peed on twice, you would also be this angry. What you said seems to be very reasonable. Yang Haoyan did not retreat, instead he advanced towards the green and red brothers. He discovered that the way they dressed up was very strange. Why does it seem a bit like the non-mainstream? But when he took a closer look, it doesn't seem that way anymore. Just like that green hair. Why does he look like a clown? It is that clown from Batman, the very handsome one, and his hairstyle is exactly the same. As for that red hair, I won't comment anymore. But right now, I, Yang Haoyan, am going to seek justice for myself. This is the dignity of a man, therefore, I have to get back my face. Today, I will let them experience the power of me, the Red Packet Emperor. I will let you all know what is called high-end operation. Plop! Yang Haoyan directly kneeled down and shouted out, Big brother, please spare me. LV Shu, Yihong. Even Erha had a stupefied look on his face. Just a moment ago, the two of them were so imposing, and it was as if they were going to start a fight at any moment of disagreement. But in the end, the moment they walked over, the two of them actually kneeled down. I have never seen such an operation before. The green and red brothers were simply flabbergasted from head to toe. Big brother, what do we do? Just a moment ago, Yihong was prepared to fight, but in the end, this fellow directly kneeled down. Even LV Shu was a bit unable to withstand it. This kneel was simply world-shaking. The atmosphere just a moment ago was so heavy, and it was as if both of them were going to perish together. But in the end, after this kneel, the atmosphere that was created instantly disappeared. What is this? Can you not be more careful? Can you not operate it like this? It is full of tricks. Big brother, I didn't sneak in on purpose. I really have an urgent matter to attend to. You all have to believe me. I also have no other choice. Young Haotian began to plead painfully. After observing, he discovered that none of the people here could be provoked, and fighting with them was completely the same as seeking death. In the new year, I wish everyone to become rich, lose weight, and have a lot of girlfriends. End of this chapter. Chapter 879. Thus, after meeting someone, I can only offer my knees and let them know how deep my sincerity is. What urgent matter do you have? Don't you know that this is the palace? Trespassing is a crime punishable by death. Ihong said gravely. This is the first man who dared to trespass into the palace. I really don't know if this is courage or stupidity. This morning, millions of people died at the city gate, and he still dares to trespass into the palace. Could it be that there really is an urgent matter? Young Haotian scolded in his heart. I already offered my knees. What else do you want? Let me go. Big brother, I really have something to do. If not, why would I trespass into the palace? What urgent matter? Tell us. LV Liang asked curiously. Yang Haotian pursed his lips, thinking about whether he should tell the truth or not. Seeing that Yang Haotian was thinking, LV Liang said coldly, What kind of lie are you thinking? Then let me tell you. Your head will be hung on the city gate tower, and exposed to the sun for 3 days and 3 nights. It's frozen, Yang Haotian said softly. Big brother, it's frozen, not exposed to the sun. Don't mind these details, Big brother is just describing it. After speaking, LV Liang shouted towards Yang Haotian, Quickly speak. If not, I will kill you. Big brother, I will speak. Yang Haotian didn't care so much anymore, because entering the palace means death. I might as well take a gamble. Who knows, a bicycle might turn into a motorcycle. Yang Haotian said weakly. Actually, I dropped something in the palace. LV Liang and Ihong revealed a sinister smile. Seems like you want to be exposed. It's true, I didn't lie to you. Then tell us, what did you drop? LV Liang asked curiously. Yang Haotian took a deep breath. It's a red packet. Red packet? LV Liang and Ihong were both stupefied. This is the first time they met someone who came to die for a red packet. Aren't you a little too weird? Then where is your red packet? Ihong asked curiously. It's on a little girl with 2 ponytails. Hearing this, LV Liang and Ihong immediately knew who it was. So it was Yi Zizi who snatched someone else's red packet. And now, that person is coming to look for her. This is hard to say. His honor is using a soft policy. If Yi Zizi really snatched someone else's red packet, the red packet will have to be returned. How did your red envelope get stolen? LV Shu still wanted to know. Big brother, my red packet flew randomly. It just happened to stick on that little girl's butt. What? On the buttocks? LV Liang and Ihong exclaimed. Yi Zizi's butt is simply a devil's butt. I reckon that only his honor would dare to spank Yi Zizi's butt. Other people shouldn't even think about it. This man actually wants to steal the red packet from Yi Zizi's butt. Will he succeed or not? It seemed like something fun was about to happen. Maybe I should inform Uncle Wei first. It seemed like it was necessary. Recently, everyone was quite bored, and it just so happened that there was a bold one. He wanted to touch Yi Zizi's butt. Heavens, he actually had such a terrifying idea. Uncle Wei, there's a situation. LV Liang hurriedly shouted. Wei Chong was currently hugging on to Tang Wei to sleep. The pitiful Tang Wei had not even been touched by Wei Chong till now. Tang Wei felt that Uncle Wei was actually not a man. What's the situation? There's an intruder. Just kill him directly. Why are you calling me? Wei Chong said confusedly. But he has a terrifying idea. Wei Chong opened his eyes, then sat up and asked, Could it be that he wants to assassinate his honor? It's even more terrifying than that. LV Liang said gravely. Then what is it? He wants to touch Yi Zizi's butt. Wei Chang. Good fellow, his guts are too big. If Yang Haotian knew what they were talking about, he would definitely shout out that he was wronged. When did I say that I want to touch someone else's butt? I am obviously just trying to steal a red packet. It's not what you all think. Wei Chang immediately got up from the bed. He found it hard to believe that someone sneaked into the palace just to touch Yi Zizi's butt. This is too interesting. Could it be that he is Yi Zizi's pursuer? His courage is commendable. We have to properly check on him. Wei Chang immediately contacted everyone. And after LV Liang and Yi Hong received the order, an evil smile appeared on their faces. Yang Haotian immediately felt that something was wrong. I can spare you, and you can even continue to look for red packets, but you have to fight with one of us. LV Liang said seriously. Yang Haotian's heart sunk to the bottom. I can't even win against them. How am I supposed to fight with them? Then does he count? Yang Haotian pointed at Yin Lang and said, in front of me, I guess. LV Liang sighed. Are you going to choose a dog as your opponent? Please don't choose him. Look at Yun Lang. Right now he is showing an expression of I am very cute, I am very stupid. Quickly come and choose me. However, Yang Haotian immediately pointed at Yun Lang and said, I choose him. LV Liang and Yi Hong immediately covered their faces. Yun Lang's strength is above theirs, and you idiot actually chose the strongest one. Yun Lang immediately licked his lips, then roared towards the sky. No matter what, Yang Haotian was a dozun. Although he had just reached rank 1, he was still a well-known figure. LV Liang and Yi Hong could be seen retreating to one side, while Yang Haotian stood up and took out his weapon. This was a harpoon. Sea Slayer Long Li. The harpoon was golden in color, with a 3-pronged head, and emitted a surging aura. Seems like it was just a prehistoric godly item. This weapon is not bad. It looks like Maserati's logo. Yi Hong, who was at the side, said in a low voice. You don't say, it really does look like it. LV Liang also agreed. Yang Haotian raised the beheading sea dragon glass in his hand, and suddenly stabbed it into the ground. The blue stone on the ground immediately cracked, and the cracks spread to the surroundings. LV Liang immediately shouted, destroying the palace, you are finished. Yang Haotian had originally created quite an imposing manner, but after saying those words, his imposing manner completely disappeared. He even put his hands together and said, Big brother, I didn't do it on purpose just now, it's just a habit. Remember to pay up. Yi Hong warned. Yang Haotian felt helpless in his heart. These people are too stingy. Do I have to pay up even for this? There is nothing to pay attention to in a 1v1 duel. Yang Haotian once again waved the beheading sea dragon glass in his hand, and a gust of astral wind blew over, causing people to be terrified. Looking at LV Liang and Yi Hong, they were both shivering from this gust of cold wind. Yin Lang squatted on the ground, picking his ears from time to time. He really did not care about Yang Haotian at all. Yang Haotian did not hold back anymore. Today he must kill this silly husky. He was going to go all out for the red packet. At most, he would be labeled as inhumane by the Animal Association. Go to hell, silly husky. Yang Haotian mercilessly attacked Yin Lang with the beheading sea dragon glass in his hand. What is Yin Lang? He is a silly husky. What does a silly husky do? He demolishes houses. Look at this silly husky's eyes. Don't you have to be more careful when you go out? Chapter 880. Although Yin Lang didn't want to demolish the house, he could demolish other things and achieve his goal. Yin Lang slowly stood up and looked at Yang Haotian, who was attacking him, as well as the shiny sea-slaying dragon glass. Yin Lang opened his mouth and bit onto the sea-slaying dragon glass. This caused Yang Haotian to be stupefied. His primordial godly item was actually bitten by a dog. How was this possible? This weapon was exchanged from the system and used 100,000 points. That was a very terrifying number. He saved for a long time to exchange for it. Let go. Yang Haotian couldn't help but shout. This dog actually didn't let go and bit it tightly. How was this possible? What were his teeth and mouth made of? Why were they so powerful? Yin Lang let out a low growl and bit it tightly without letting go. Yang Haotian really couldn't do anything. He couldn't pull it out. The other party's strength was obviously greater than his. It's over, it's over. Right at that moment, Yin Lang's body emitted a terrifying aura, scaring Yang Haoyan so much that he didn't even want to keep his weapon, and directly distanced himself. Yang Haoyan looked at Yin Lang in shock. Is this really a dog? Yin Lang clearly revealed a smile. He actually wanted to touch his masters, but who gave him the courage to do that? Kacha. The sea-slaying dragon glass let out a crisp sound. Yang Haoyan was stupefied. This husky actually broke his own weapon with his teeth. How was that possible? Are his teeth a primordial godly item? To be able to easily bite off a primordial godly item. Yang Haoyan just watched as Yin Lang chewed. The sea-slaying dragon glass was slowly swallowed into Yin Lang's stomach. It didn't even leave any scraps for him. That was 100,000 points. Even if it was demolishing the house, it shouldn't be like this, my god. I'm really regretting choosing this dog. It even swallowed a primordial godly item. Burp. Yin Lang let out a satisfied burp, indicating that he was full. LV Liang saw that it was about time. Anyways, this fellow couldn't beat anyone. Alright, you can go. LV Liang said. Yang Haoyan's first feeling was that it was fake. When he turned around, he would definitely launch a sneak attack. Brother, my competition isn't over yet. It's not appropriate to end it like this. Yang Haoyan was heartbroken, but as long as he could get a red packet, a harpoon was worth it. Hurry up and leave. Don't make me change my mind. Goodbye, big brother. After saying that, Yang Haoyan turned into a flash of lightning and disappeared. His speed was as fast as a wife giving birth at home. Yihong laughed. Damn, this guy runs really fast. Who's next? It seems to be Mage Brother. He is really unlucky. Yihong shook her head, then planned to go home with LV Tao. Yang Haoyan did not know how long he had been running. Suddenly, he saw a black shadow in front of him and immediately braked. It was a black figure holding a sickle and wearing a black robe. Yang Haoyan took a deep breath as if he was waiting for him. When Death Mage raised his head, Yang Haoyan was startled. This was an undead. There is actually an undead in Wushu Empire? How is this possible? Yang Haoyan didn't have any aversion towards other races. After being slightly shocked, he felt relieved. A group of monsters was originally living in the palace, and an undead was nothing much. Even if a legendary race were to appear, it would also be normal. With no other choice, Yang Haoyan could only take out an ancient godly equipment. It was better than nothing. Death Mage was also sizing up Yang Haoyan to see just who dares to touch a tiger's butt. Right now, the person is standing beside me, but why do I feel that he seems to be very weak? To want to touch Yeezy's, but with that body of his, he is overestimating himself. Come. Yang Haoyan pointed his sword at Death Mage. And Death Mage naturally wouldn't use magic. As a mage, the heart of close combat cannot be abandoned. Therefore, Death Mage waved the sickle in his hand and looked at Yang Haoyan. Yang Haoyan suddenly placed his left hand on his right wrist. If I want to win against Death Mage, I have to use my trump card. Bloom. Giant leaf. The long sword in Yang Haoyan's hand could be seen emitting a ray of light, and in an instant, it turned into a green leaf. However, don't be fooled by this, the giant leaf is not a joke. Die. Yang Haoyan waved the gigantic leaf in his hand, and slammed it towards Death Mage. A powerful aura suppressed Death Mage. What kind of martial skill could Death Mage have? He immediately raised the Death Scythe in his hand. Boom. The gigantic leaf slammed onto the Death Scythe. However, at this moment, Death Mage suddenly disappeared. Yang Haoyan's heart sank as a sense of danger assaulted him. Without any hesitation, he threw the giant leaf behind him. A terrifying astral wind was formed and instantly smashed the surrounding walls. A loud noise suddenly rang out in the imperial palace. Outside of Yi Hua's sleeping palace, Daji's expression sank. She used a barrier to protect herself, so as to not disturb her master's rest. Master was tired just now. My heart really aches for Master. Death Mage stood at the side and looked at the wall that was knocked down. GGG Royal Translator. You actually destroyed public facilities. You're really bold. Yang Haoyan didn't care so much. He waved his right hand again. This time it was like a palm leaf fan. Death Mage raised the scythe in his hand, then ruthlessly swung it down. A crescent-shaped blade aura attacked towards Yang Haoyan. Yang Haotian rolled and dodged. The saber chi destroyed a part of the palace in an instant, and a rumbling sound rang out. Death Mage was stunned. Yang Haotian went into a daze for a moment, then pointed at Death Mage and laughed out loud. "You're done for, destroying the Imperial Palace." Just as he finished speaking, Yang Haotian felt something was wrong. This guy was releasing his killing intent. It was all his fault for talking too much. Why did he have to laugh at it? Death Mage raised his death scythe and slashed towards Yang Haotian. Yang Haotian was not afraid at all, because he discovered a problem. This Death Mage is so weak, I can completely block him. Death Mage's close combat skills were not very strong to begin with. Back then he was even killed by Xiao Yi. And the current Yang Haotian was much stronger than Xiao Yi, so it was very easy for him to fight against Death Mage. Although it was easy, the surrounding walls and other things were all destroyed. If Yi Hua were to see his imperial palace becoming like this, would he become the second emperor to die from anger? At the very least, when Yi Hua sees it tomorrow morning, he will definitely fly into a rage. None of the people who participated tonight will be spared. Right now, Yang Haotian was getting more and more relaxed, causing Death Mage to be unhappy. "I can only fight to a draw in close combat. I don't want to play anymore." A lightning could be seen shooting out from Death Mage's bony finger. This sudden move caused Yang Haotian to be unable to react, and his entire body was electrocuted. Buzz, buzz, buzz. All Yang Haotian's entire body was trembling, and his entire body was filled with electric current. Yang Haotian's bones could even be seen, and his hair was gradually becoming taller and taller, and his clothes were starting to emit smoke. Chapter 881. Omega, 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 choking with sobs. Novel. He was electrocuted for a full minute. Yang Haotian spat out a mouthful of black smoke. His face was dirty and he had an afro. His clothes were also emitting green smoke. You're cheating." Yang Haotian cursed shamelessly. They were clearly fighting well, but he actually used such a despicable move. Although Yang Haotian was cursing, he was still shocked. That bolt of lightning was terrifying. Fortunately, he was wearing magic resistance equipment today. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. This undead was probably going easy on them. Death Mage did not want to waste any more time, and immediately disappeared from where he was standing. "I have played enough. I don't want to kill him." Looking at Death Mage leaving just like that, Yang Haotian felt very uncomfortable, as if he was being teased by someone. But for the red packet, it was worth it even if she was humiliated by a man. Yang Haotian calmed himself down, and did not run out of the palace. No matter what, he had to get the red envelope today. "If I don't take the red envelope, I would rather die." It had to be said that Yang Haotian was indeed amazing. He dared to barge into such a terrifying place alone. However, this group of people was also leading the way. They were very curious about Yi Zizi's reaction. Of course, they were also very curious about how Yang Haotian had touched Yi Zizi's butt. That scene should be very exciting. As Yang Haotian continued forward, he suddenly saw two figures. However, these two figures were a little strange. Cough, cough, cough. Yang Haotian couldn't help but cough a few times. "You guys are too hasty in doing this." Beside the wall, a beautiful figure was kissing a man in a domineering manner. Yang Haotian, who was electrocuted inside and out, felt embarrassed. These two people were naturally Do Fusher and Soul departing. Drifting Soul was still as infatuated with Do Fusher as always. After waiting for a long time, he still did not see Do Fusher. Fortunately, they started kissing. "Honey, honey, she's here. Don't mind him. Kiss me again." It's so embarrassing to have an outsider here. "I'll let you kiss me all you want when we get back." "Alright then, hurry up." Got it, got it." Drifting Soul released Do Fusher and stood at the side to watch the battle, while Do Fusher slowly walked towards Yang Haotian. When he saw Yang Haotian's appearance, Do Fusher was stunned for a moment before he started laughing. The Green and Red brothers were already non-mainstream enough, but this person was simply a true non-mainstream. That afro was simply a symbol. The corner of Yang Haotian's mouth twitched slightly. It was such a serious scene, but he was laughing so hard that he was convulsing. It was really infuriating. I'm sorry, your appearance is too shocking. It's like you've been electrocuted. Yes, I was electrocuted just now. I poked your sore spot. Cut the crap. Let's get started. Young Haoyan said in a deep voice. Today, he had to overcome all the obstacles, and then take away the red envelope that belonged to him. Wait a minute, fighting is actually boring. Why don't we play something else? What are we playing? Young Haoyan asked curiously. Do Fusher took out a mysterious item and said with a smile, Landlord. Young Haoyan was shocked. They actually knew how to fight the landlord. How could it be? Could it be that they were from the same hometown? Do you dare to play? All right. Wife, come here quickly. We need one more. Hubby, I'm coming. The three of them sat on the ground, and Floating Do started shuffling the cards. He smiled and said, the winner can use this to hit the opponent. After saying that, Do Fusher took out a hammer, on which were written 100000T, but looking at the shape of the hammer, it looked like a balloon. Young Haoyan thought to himself, you guys are too much of a joke. I'll play with you guys then. Back in the day, Young Haoyan, was an expert in fighting the landlord. After shuffling the cards, the three of them started playing. However, Young Haoyan finally knew what fighting the landlord was. This was the shameless fighting the landlord. Damn, how could it end like this in fighting the landlord? 3 can beat 2 kings? Who are you kidding? How dare you say it's 3-2? There was actually no way to refute it. Haha, I won. As the host, Drifting Soul clapped happily. Young Haoyan said in a deep voice, I will definitely win the next round. Drifting Soul held his breath and picked up the 100,000T black hammer at the side. Hubby. Do Fusher pouted and Drifting Soul kissed him sweetly. This was a good show of affection. Young Haoyan clenched his fists tightly. Come on. Drifting Soul raised the hammer with a sinister smile. I'm coming, be careful. Young Haoyan said disdainfully. If I make a sound, I'll be your grandson. Ah. Just as he finished speaking, Young Haoyan couldn't help but make a sound and his whole body flew out. If one looked down from the palace, they would see something playing through the wall. Wife, you're too ruthless. Do Fusher shivered. Who told him to be so arrogant? Drifting Soul snorted. Not even I'll beat you until you scream. Not long after, Young Haoyan walked over. His clothes were tattered like a few rags hanging on his body. There was blood at the corner of his mouth, but it wasn't a big deal. For a Dozun, this little injury was nothing. But this was a psychological injury. Young Haoyan felt like dying. Grandson, you're back so soon. Let's continue. Drifting Soul said happily. Young Haoyan felt embarrassed. He had just finished speaking and he was slapped in the face. But this time, Young Haoyan will not lose. I've already figured out the rules. Young Haoyan was still too young. When his sky explosion was destroyed by 119, his whole body seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Is this F***king fight the landlord? Was this rule invented by you all? No, this is a new type of fight the landlord that His Honor invented. Ordinary people will not be able to understand it. In short, in this type of fight the landlord, whoever is more powerful will have the final say. Husband. Do Fusher pouted his mouth helplessly, and then Drifting Soul kissed him. Meanwhile, Young Haoyan, who was at the side, suddenly felt very envious of this man. Seeing that the woman raised the hammer again, Young Haoyan hurriedly said, Female comrade, be gentler. All right. This time, Drifting Soul picked up the hammer and slammed it down. Bang! Young Haoyan's entire body was smashed onto the ground. The scene was simply too horrible to look at. Young Haoyan wanted to cry but had no tears. If only I could be smashed to death. The problem is, I have the body of a Dozun. How is it possible for me to be smashed to death? I was actually humiliated by a woman. I'm so angry. Stop pretending and continue. Drifting Soul snorted. I am very clear that nothing will happen to Young Haoyan. Young Haoyan immediately sat up. Oh. This sound seems so helpless. This is a kind of abandonment towards life. Since I am unable to resist, then I'll just accept it. A trace of blood flowed out from Young Haoyan's nose, and Young Haoyan himself didn't know about it. Do Fusher pointed at his nose and told Young Haoyan that his nose is bleeding. Young Haotian rubbed his nose. This is so embarrassing. In the next half an hour, Young Haotian suffered from physical and mental devastation. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. Chapter 882. When he saw the two demons leave, Young Haotian wanted to laugh out loud. He would never play landlord again. If he played again, he would chop off his hands. At this moment, Young Haotian was already in an extremely sorry state. His afro was covered in dust, and his cloth-like robe was undoubtedly showing off his lifestyle. How casual, how sloppy. Looking at the poker cards on the ground, Young Haotian stepped on them. Pa. He had no choice but to bully the poker cards. F***ck. Damn landlord. I will never play cards again. You bunch of bullies. If it wasn't for the red packet, I wouldn't have suffered such humiliation. I can use 119 for a king bomb. If I use sky bomb, you guys can still call 911. Why don't you call 110? F***ck. I have never seen such a bully. These animals, I hate you. Young Haotian stomped on the ground and created a huge pit. Only then did he vent his anger. Otherwise it would be too uncomfortable. Heaving a sigh of relief, Young Haotian looked at the night sky and decided to move forward. Since he was already so humiliated, it didn't matter. Suddenly, Young Haotian stopped in his tracks. A cold wind blew in the darkness. A sense of danger caused Young Haotian to take out his weapon and look around vigilantly. Who is it? Come out. Young Haotian shouted. I didn't expect you to be able to sense it. Interesting. A voice sounded in the air. It was Whitebones. At this moment, Young Haotian's face was solemn. His mind was frantically thinking. What the hell was this? An invisibility technique? But why couldn't he sense any aura? Could it be another type of invisibility technique? That shouldn't be the case. Even if it was invisibility, there would be flaws. I know what you are thinking. Don't think too much. It's useless. Whitebones said calmly. Every time he met an enemy, they would think about where he was. But they would never guess that he was part of the air. Before Young Haotian could react. Pooh. Young Haotian's arm was slashed. Young Haotian didn't even have time to react. He was stunned. At that moment, Young Haotian couldn't sense any aura at all. What the hell was this? Blood flowed from his arm. However, Young Haotian didn't care about the wound. He couldn't think normally. Shwa. There was also a cut on his other arm, and blood flowed out. If you don't resist, you will die here. Whitebones said with a smile. This man was a little interesting. He actually stood there without moving. If it was someone else, they would have panicked long ago. In fact, Young Haotian was already panicking. It was just that he didn't show it on his face. Initially, he had thought that the Wushu Empire was already very impressive. But to think that there would be such a character in the Wushu Empire. He had never seen it before. Swish 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 3 wounds instantly appeared on Young Haotian's body, and blood was already flowing on the ground. Who are you? Young Haotian asked. He felt that he was going to die here today. Me? I am just an insignificant person. There are many people who are more powerful than me. Whitebones said indifferently. These words were still very low-key. After all, back then, Whitebones was able to escape unscathed from Yi Hua's hands. Having such a record was already very impressive. Impossible. You must be one of the main members here. Young Haotian only had some flesh wounds. Whitebones didn't really use its full strength. If it really did, Young Haotian would have already died. After all, tonight, they were going to see how Young Haotian would touch Yeezy's butt. This was the most interesting thing in recent years. Whitebones suddenly laughed. What main member? I am not the main member. Don't think too much, resist a bit, let me be a bit more excited. You. Young Haotian was furious. He held the sword in his hand and slashed randomly. Streaks of sword chi engulfed the palace, and a large portion of the walls instantly collapsed. However, he wasn't able to hit anything. Instead, the wounds on his body increased. Suddenly, Young Haotian stopped moving. If you want to kill me, then kill me. I am not playing anymore. There was no reply in the air. Come. Kill me, come. Young Haotian roared. Ever since he had the system, when had he ever suffered such humiliation? In his own empire, who wouldn't be respectful to him? If he reached the supreme realm, then he would be able to sit on the same level as Broken Vein Mountain and Deity Academy. How glorious would that be? But if he didn't get the red packet on his butt, everything else was just a delusion. Damned Wusu Empire, why were there so many perverts? At the start, there were 2 drunkards and a husky. He simply couldn't understand their thoughts. Why were they so strange? Especially that dog, it actually ate his 100,000-point certificates. Then he met an undead. He was clearly a mage, yet he wanted to pretend to be a warrior to fight against him. In the end, he was almost killed by a bolt of lightning. He was simply too shameless. Then he met 2 strange lovers. He had never seen anyone who could play landlord in such a way. Why were they so outstanding? He was even hammered by that woman many times, to the point that his head was dizzy. Then he met an even more perverted one. He was a dozun, yet he couldn't even sense a trace of aura. Yet countless wounds appeared on his body. Although they were all superficial wounds, the pain was in his heart. Yang Haoyan took out some external injury medicine and applied it on his wounds. Very quickly, the bleeding stopped. He took a deep breath. Just what was the background of that twin-tailed girl? Would she be stronger than them? Probably not. Perhaps she was someone's child. As long as he captured her and took the red packet, he could bid farewell to her and never come back to this damned place again. With this crazy thought, young Haoyan continued to walk. The belief in his heart had supported him until now. If it was someone else, they would have long been tortured to the point of collapse. At the very least, they would have gone crazy. After walking for a short while, young Haoyan saw a figure standing not far away. He's here. He's here again. What the hell is this time? Is he trying to humiliate my dignity again? Don't even think about it. Young Haoyan directly took out his sword, unleashed the aura of a dozun, and slashed at the figure. Boom. A powerful shockwave caused the surrounding walls to collapse. However, young Haoyan was stunned. His sword was stabbed at his chest, but it couldn't pierce through. Young Haoyan slowly raised his head and looked at the face of a middle-aged uncle. He was a little handsome, and there was even a smile on his face. I'm about to kill you. Yet you're still smiling. Can't you give me some dignity? Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Wei Chong laughed softly. Young Haoyan wanted to cry. He actually told him not to be afraid. Why wouldn't I be afraid? I came here alone to be bullied and abused. If you were to try it, you would probably have already collapsed. Baidu search 881 Chinese network yen. No advertising words. Chapter 883. You can either directly kill me, or tell me the location of that twin-tails girl. Young Haoyan roared at Wei Chong. I am no longer afraid of death. I can play however I want to, isn't it just death? Without the system's assistance, I would rather die. Then tell me why? Wei Chong asked faintly. Not knowing why, young Haoyan felt that this man seemed to be protecting that twin-tails girl. Could it be? It's her dad. It's very possible. Looking at his age, if it's really her dad, then even the heavens are helping me. Young Haoyan had an idea, because I love her. Hearing young Haoyan's words, Wei Chang's eyes gradually widened, as if he had seen a ghost. What did you just say? Wei Chong was shocked. This man barged into Wushu Empire's palace in the middle of the night, just to confess to Yizizi? F***K. This young man is awesome. Young Haoyan clearly saw the shock, and this shock came from a father. That's right. I love her, that's why I came. No matter if it's a dragon's den or a tiger's den, I, young Haoyan, will go crazy for love. Young Haoyan slightly raised his head, and it just so happened to be at a 45 degrees angle, as if he was telling a story of infatuation that could make people cry. Ugh, a retching sound suddenly sounded out in the air. Young Haoyan pursed his lips. What I said just now seemed to have gone a bit too far, too mushy. But for the sake of the red packet, so be it if it's mushy. In any case, I'm even prepared to die. Wei Chong suddenly laughed out loud. Little brother, I can tell you where she is. Really? Young Haoyan immediately became excited. As expected of my father-in-law, he is very wise. Of course, but what I want to say is, how deep do you love her? Wei Chang asked curiously. Before Yang Haoyan finished speaking, Wei Chang interrupted him, and one of his hands reached into his crotch and started searching. Seeing this action of his father-in-law, Yang Haoyan was a bit absent-minded. What do you mean by this? This action is too sloppy, right? Wei Chang could be seen taking out a big bug. The bug's legs were like centipedes, and its body was covered with a black carapace. There were 2 feelers on its forehead, and it had a lot of eyes, but they were very small. If a person with phobia saw these small eyes, they would definitely have a feeling of vomiting. These small eyes were moving irregularly, and the whole face was filled with small eyes. It was really creepy. Yang Haoyan thought that he was very awesome. After all, he was a dozun. However, when he saw this worm, he couldn't help but want to vomit. This was the most disgusting worm in the world. This is called 100 million bug. It's not poisonous and harmless. Although it looks a little disgusting, it tastes pretty good. Wei Chang said with a faint smile. The worm in his hand was at least the size of 2 palms, like a doll. Even a doll would not be so disgusting. Yang Haoyan retched. How dare you say that it tastes good? Only a ghost would eat this. Wei Chang stretched out the 100 million bugs and said softly, the more you love her, the more you eat. I will tell you the location, and I promise that no one will stop you. The more I love her, the more I will eat her. Yang Haoyan suddenly regretted. It would be better to be whipped. Even if it was tied up in Asia, it would still be acceptable. But eating this? Are you serious? Can't I eat something else? Yang Haoyan asked weakly. I have given you the chance, you better grasp it. If not, today hee. Wei Chang said in a low voice, and his tone was filled with warning. Following Wei Chang's words, Yang Haoyan's expression became very ugly. This thing is disgusting just by looking at it. How am I supposed to eat it? This is simply like a large fecal worm. Above the sky, all of Yi Zizi's subordinates were present. Even Lai Gu was present, and there was also Zhu Tian and the others. Damn, Wei Chang brought out a disgusting thing again. Lai Gu couldn't help but ridicule. Let's take a guess, will this person eat it or not? How about it? Brett said with a playful tone. I don't think he will eat it, right? It's too disgusting. Zishan mumbled. She didn't even want to look at that worm anymore. I also feel that if he really eats it, it would definitely be true love. Sun Fang mumbled. Don't even talk about eating it. Just looking at it makes one feel despair. LV Lu let out a light sigh. This fellow is truly pitiful. That's right, he actually likes Yi Zizi. My god, he even fell in love with her. Do Fusher was unable to understand. Yi Zizi is simply a demon incarnate. I feel that this fellow will definitely be beaten to death. Interesting. I am really curious to see Yi Zizi's expression. Kaiyan was very curious to see how Yi Zizi would react. For a man to suddenly say that he loves her, just thinking about it makes me feel that it is rather interesting. Yu Hua said with a smile. However, this man is still very courageous, knowing that there is only death waiting for him. He still came to look for Yi Zizi. His courage is commendable. The courage of an ignorant man. Luo Ho laughed lightly as he slowly waved the folding fan in his hand. Yang Haoyan, who was below, didn't know that his every move was being grasped, and right now, he was struggling frantically in his heart. Hurry up and decide, you can go after eating it. Wei Chang patted onto Igu's head and said with a smile. Can't I really change to another one? Do you really want to change to another one? Wei Chang asked with a naughty smile. Seeing Wei Chang's naughty smile, Yang Haoyan immediately shook his head. No need, there's no need to change to another one. Who knows what I will do if you change to an even more disgusting one later on. There isn't a single normal person here. I will eat it. Yang Haoyan made up his mind. For the sake of getting the red packet, I am starting to lose my bottom line more and more. Very good. It can be seen that your love is really deep. Deep my ass. To hell with love. I just want to get the red packet for the red packet. I can do all kinds of things. I can do without any bottom line. Catch it. Wei Chang threw the igu in his hand towards Yang Haoyan. Everyone who was standing in the air subconsciously leaned backwards, seemingly wanting to throw the igu to themselves. Even the subordinates had such a reaction, and Yang Haotian was the same as well. However, he had no choice but to stretch out his hand and hold onto the igu. Holding onto the igu, I can feel my scalp going numb. Countless tentacles are crawling on my hand. And especially when the igu is looking at me, those countless eyes are enough to make me collapse. Yang Haotian's heart is in pain. There is even hair on the carapace. My God. There is even hair on the carapace. Yang Haotian could even imagine that as long as I bite onto the carapace later on, that green liquid would spurt out, or maybe it would be some other kind of liquid. In any case, it would be a disgusting thing. Can I roast it? Yang Haotian asked weakly. There won't be any nutrition if you roast it. Eating it raw is good for the body. Good my ass. You rotten old man, you are very bad. Yang Haotian took a deep breath and looked at the igu in his hand. Should I eat it from the head or from the buttocks? The internal organs can be spat out, right? Yang Haotian asked curiously. Chapter 884. Don't you want me to eat sh*t? Just say it out loud. Now even if there is a pile of sh*t, I Yang Haotian will eat it. For the sake of the red packet, I will go all out. However, this worm was truly uglier than sh*t. He might as well cover his eyes. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve. The people standing in the void were dumbfounded. This guy really ate it. Oh my God. This is true love. Lai Gu mumbled. It is indeed true love, Brett said blankly. He would rather die than eat it. Kai Yin was also astonished. I didn't expect this. Even Yi Zizi has someone who likes me. Why isn't there anyone who likes me? Seeing that the flag master was depressed, Yuhua quickly comforted him. That's because it hasn't appeared yet. Yuhua, you don't have to comfort me. I'm suddenly envious of Yi Zizi. Kai Yin pouted and said, look at that fella. He was gobbling them down in huge mouthfuls as though he was eating roasted meat. Even that green liquid was gushing out crazily. How was he supposed to eat all those eyes? Yi Hong said in shock. My God, he is still chewing. LV Liang immediately covered his own eyes. At the same time, he also covered the eyes of his vampire wife. Those exploding spiders and scorpions weren't that terrifying. After a while, Yang Haotian wiped his mouth and exclaimed, awesome. Are there any more? Wei Chong. Are you F***king addicted to it? Yang Haotian was indeed addicted to it. This man did not lie to him. It was indeed a great tonic. Originally, he was already mentally and physically exhausted. But when he took a bite, he instantly felt a clear current wandering in his body. He even felt that his cultivation had improved a lot. This is simply too magical, too delicious. Please give me a dozen. I can F***king eat it. No more. Ah, that's all. Yang Haotian was a little disappointed. Wei Chong was a little dumbfounded. After all, this was the first time he saw someone eat this thing, and eat it with such relish. It was simply a weirdo. Turn right up ahead. The first palace is there, Wei Chong said indifferently. He then turned around and disappeared. Yang Haotian pursed his lips. What a stingy man. After saying that, he even licked the green liquid on his finger. So fragrant, everyone who was standing in the void was about to vomit. This was a young man with a heavy taste. Why didn't he just go and die? At this time, Wei Chong appeared at the side and said with a smile, let's go call Yi Zizi. Let's go. Kai Yin immediately disappeared. In Yi Zizi's room, Yi Zizi was combing her hair and humming a tune. She was in a good mood. After all, they could go out tomorrow. It's already so late, and it's still so noisy outside. Seriously, Yi Zizi didn't care about the commotion outside, because she knew that anyone who came to Voidless Empire's palace would basically be dead, and it was even more impossible for them to come to her place. Zizi. Kai Yin suddenly appeared at his side. Didn't we make an appointment tomorrow morning? Seeing that Kai Yin had appeared, Yi Zizi did not panic. Instead, she asked with a puzzled tone. After that, she raised her twin ponytails, looking extremely cute. Kai Yin blinked his big eyes. I couldn't fall asleep, so I came to chat with you. Oh, what are you talking about? Yi Zizi asked curiously. Zizi, What would you do if someone suddenly confessed to you? Kaiyan asked curiously. Confession? That's right, that's right. Kaiyan nodded his head. Yi Zizi curled her beautiful hair and said with a smile. Kill, that's a man who loves you a lot. Kaiyan said in surprise. Yi Zizi spread out her hands and said with a smile. It's not like I need a man. Besides, other than his honor, all men in this world are trash. Damn Zizi, you like his honor? No, this is worship. I am his honor's little fan, Yi Zizi grinned. His honor is just like my big brother. Suddenly, Yi Zizi wrinkled her brows. She sensed that someone was outside. You all let that person in? Yi Zizi asked confusedly. Kaiyan teased. A man who loves you crazily ran into the palace without a care for his life. Yi Zizi. Humph, I'm going to tell his honor about this. You all wanted to see me make a fool out of myself, and even let that person in. Don't. That person went through all sorts of difficulties just to see you. Aren't you curious about what kind of man would be willing to give up his life for you? Following Kaiyan's words, Yi Zizi became a bit curious. I can take a look. After seeing that person, I'll kill him and become everyone's target of ridicule. That person simply doesn't want to live anymore. Yi Zizi stood up, and Kaiyan followed behind Yi Zizi. Just like that, the two pushed open the door and walked out. At this moment, Yang Haoyan had already walked into the bedroom. After looking around, he suddenly saw that the door of the bedroom had opened. The twin-tailed little girl that I have been thinking about day and night has appeared. This is indeed her. And that red packet on her butt. It's sparkling, just waiting for me to touch it. After that, my red packet system will be able to function normally. Oh my God. What a great moment this is. The heavens must protect me. Yi Zizi squinted her eyes and looked at the excited Yang Haoyan. This man is so lame. He is simply even more lame than the green and red brothers back then. His afro is messy, his face is pitch black, the clothes that he is wearing are tattered, and there is even a mysterious green liquid at the corner of his mouth. He is simply sloppy to the extreme. I am actually liked by this kind of person. This is simply a humiliation. At this moment, Wei Chang suddenly appeared once again, and the others were standing in the air and looking at Wei Chang. Yi Zizi naturally knew that these people are watching me make a fool of myself. This is too shameless. Tomorrow, I must definitely tell his honor that the reason why you all let these people in is to watch me make a fool of myself. The corner of Wei Chang's mouth slightly rose as he said with a light smile. Zizi, this little brother came here for you. Yi Zizi snorted, and as her body turned, the red packet on her but caused Yang Haoyan to go crazy. I really want to go up and touch it. What are you looking at? Be careful that I dig out your eyes. Yi Zizi felt Yang Haoyan's gaze and snorted coldly. Yang Haoyan immediately retracted his gaze. Don't misunderstand, I am not looking at your butt. I am looking at the red packet. Furthermore, your butt is not perky at all. It doesn't look interesting at all. Furthermore, you look like a little lowly, you are not my type at all. I Yang Haoyan like mature women. After hearing that, Wei Chang laughed. Zizi, don't be so angry. The reason why the other party is in such a sorry state is because he fought a lot of fights, isn't that right? Yes, that's right. I wasn't originally like this. Yang Haoyan felt that this father-in-law of his was truly a good person. Chapter 885. Yang Haoyan immediately took out a water bottle and wiped his face. He did wash quite a bit, but his hairstyle and clothes were indeed unbearable to look at. Yi Zizi stood at the door without saying a word. She wished she could suck this man to death. Alright, I've already seen her. If you have any feelings for her, just say it. Wei Chang had a look of I'm in charge. Just say whatever you want. Yang Haoyan was in a dilemma. Could it be that he didn't love her anymore? Wouldn't this father-in-law kill him? But how can I say it out right now? This is simply like a child. Could it be that I, Yang Haoyan, have to say such mushy words? You could go to jail. Yi Zizi crossed her arms in front of her chest. She really wanted to see what this man was going to say. After listening to him, she immediately killed him. Yang Haoyan began to ponder in his mind what kind of nonsense to use. Yang Haoyan suddenly raised his hair and put his hands behind his back. as if he had become a Casanova. This series of actions carried a wave of flirtatious air. Although I don't know what your name is, your figure has landed in my heart. The person standing in the void was no longer calm. This kind of person should be dragged up to be beheaded. Lai Gu snorted coldly. That's right, he actually likes minors at least 3 years old and less than 5 years old. Tang Wei said tenderly. You even said those words to an underage girl. You are too disgusting. Zishan said with a look of disdain. At this moment, Yi Zizi had goosebumps all over her body. She could not help but want to kill this man. This man was purely here to disgust her. Letting others see her as a joke? How hateful. Yang Haoyan took a deep breath and looked at Yi Zizi affectionately, saying, The mountain has trees, and the wood has branches. My heart pleases you, but you don't know. Everyone. Yi Zizi froze and shouted, I don't understand. Speak human language. Yang Haoyan choked for a moment, then adjusted his attitude. I like you. Yi Zizi and Kai Yin were both stunned. Wei Chong didn't expect this guy to be so good. Everyone standing in the air was shocked. These words of love were so unsophisticated, but it seemed to be very effective. Even Yi Zizi was stunned. However, this was not the end. Yang Haoyan rolled up his sleeve and saw that there were words carved on his arm. It was still bleeding. Although I don't know what your name is, I have given myself a name, Shuang. Shuang. Everyone was thunderstruck once again. F*ck. He even gave her an English name, and Shuang, F*ck. Good dick, disgusting. There's a bloodstain on your arm. Did you just F*king carve it? Yi Zizi's entire body was trembling. This was not because she was moved, but because she was angry. Tonight would be a stain on his record. Kai Yun, who was standing at the side, had a love-struck look on his face. Wow, what a deeply affectionate man. He's even carved you into his arm. Yi Zizi couldn't take it anymore and slapped the air. Shameless. There was a clap. Yang Haoyan was sent flying and stuck on the wall, unable to be pulled out. After a long time, Yang Haoyan finally pulled himself out, cursing in his heart, this little girl is really fierce. Looks like I have to use my ultimate move. Yang Haoyan wiped the blood from his nose and shouted, You're right. I'm shameless. Everyone was very curious about what Yang Haoyan was going to say. Blood Demon was still filming, and it was another documentary. Ever since I saw you on the street that day, everything I did was to get close to you. Even if I know I'm going to die tonight, I still want to see you. Even if I die, it's enough for me. After saying that, Yang Haoyan looked at the sky at a 45 degrees angle again, as if this was the only way he could stop his tears from flowing. Suddenly, a song rang out in the sky. Sweet You Smile Sweetly, who was the one who played this background music? Yi Zizi felt like she was going to explode. However, Yang Haoyan seized the opportunity and said again, Hit me, wake me up from this illusory dream. Yi Zizi exploded. She must hammer this man into dust. Seeing that Yi Zizi was about to explode, Yang Haoyan hurriedly said, No. Don't wake me up. When everyone heard this, they were stunned for a moment before bursting into laughter. F*ck. This is a F*king genius. Even Wei Chong was dumbfounded. Yi Zizi's fist had already appeared in between Yang Haoyan's eyebrows. Yang Haoyan was so scared that he immediately changed his words. Don't wake me up, just let me sleep in this dream full of love. Even if you beat me to death today, at least my body has been touched by you, and you have become my life, everyone. This kind of genius was too rare. Looking at Yi Zizi's expression, there was a hint of craziness in it. Yang Haoyan looked at Yi Zizi as if asking, Are you still not touched? If such words of love were said, girls would usually throw themselves into his arms and beg for his love. Yi Zizi's chest heaved up and down, and she said coldly, Continue. Sweet You Smile Sweetly. Yi Zizi wanted to chop the person who played the background music. Yang Haoyan blinked his eyes and seemed to be very confused, not knowing whether it was right or wrong. I came here to see you again. I want to use my life to tell you that I loved you. Yi Zizi's expression became especially abnormal. Yang Haoyan was so scared that he hurriedly changed his words. Just let us stay here quietly like this and enjoy this moment of beauty. Look how round the moon is today. Everyone looked towards the night sky. Everything was pitch black. None of us move. Whoever moves will be considered to have lost. Everyone felt that this fellow was not bad. Seeing that Yi Zizi was about to kill someone, he actually said such words. However, the truth was not like this. I lost, I moved first, my heart was moved. F***K. The subordinates felt that they had learned a new trick. This fellow is simply an expert at picking up girls. Or could it be that his desire to live is too strong? Be together. Be together. Be together. It was unknown who was the one who took the lead, but everyone actually started cheering. Look, even Kai Yin started cheering. Yi Zizi looked towards Yang Haotian coldly, and her fist emitted out a terrifying aura. This caused Yang Haotian to swallow his saliva. Wait. I still have something that I want to say. Say it. Yi Zizi felt that she had never been so angry before. This is a man who angered me. Schwanger, speak human language. Yang Haotian was a bit absent-minded, then said in a low voice, I have too many things that I want to say. In actuality, I left something on you. Your heart. Yi Zizi asked back coldly. You even know about this. Seems like our hearts are linked. Scram. Chapter 886. Where? Yi Zizi asked in a deep voice. It's on your butt. Yang Haotian said weakly. You just need to touch my butt for a bit. Yi Zizi was speechless. Kai Yin. Wei Chong. Everyone. Yi Zizi finally couldn't take it anymore and sent Yang Haotian flying with a punch. Yang Haotian turned into a shooting star in the dark night. Shuang, I'll be back. A voice echoed in the dark night. Yi Zizi raised her head and looked at the crowd. Who the hell put that sweet honey there? The background music suddenly stopped, and everyone looked left and right. Get out of my sight. Yi Zizi flew into a rage. She turned around, walked into the house, and slammed the door shut. Kai Yin cupped his chin. Wow, I'm so blessed. Too bad it's not me. Wei Chong sighed. What a good man. Looking at the bloody blade on the ground. It was indeed carved just now. The farce ended just like that. But the Imperial Palace. I reckon that Yi Hua will definitely fly into a rage when he wakes up in the morning. On Yi Hua's bed, 3 lovely wives were surrounding him. Suddenly, Qing Yutong opened her eyes. It is about time. Qing Yutong could be seen sneakily getting down from the bed. Then taking her own clothes. She walked out just like a thief. Yi Hua, who was in a deep sleep, opened his eyes. And a light smile could be seen on the corner of his mouth. This Yutong, I shall just go out and play with her, lest she gets bored in the Imperial Palace. Qing Yutong thought that she would be able to deceive Yi Hua. After putting on her clothes, Qing Yutong pushed open the door, and Daji was standing outside. Madam. Qing Yutong said in a low voice. Daji, be quiet. I'm going out. Daji was confused for a moment and nodded. Qing Yutong stretched out her hand and pinched Daji's face. Wait for me to come back, let's have a good chat. A bright red immediately appeared on Daji's beautiful face. Qing Yutong, this old hooligan. However, when Qing Yutong turned her head and looked towards the Imperial Palace, the corner of her mouth twitched. Did a big battle happen? If brother-in-law saw this, his back would go numb. Hurry up and leave, otherwise brother-in-law will take it out on me. Qing Yutong immediately rushed to the appointed location. Yi Zizi, Brett, Kai Yin, and Yu Hua had already arrived. Qing Yutong arrived late. Your wife. The 4 of them still had to address her respectfully. Don't call me your wife, we are already friends outside. Qing Yutong was rather carefree. Suddenly, Qing Yutong discovered that Yi Zizi's complexion didn't seem to be very good. Zizi, what happened to you? Qing Yutong pinched onto Yi Zizi's cheek. Other than Yi Hua, the only other person who would dare to pinch Yi Zizi's cheeks would be Qing Yutong. Qing Yutong and Yi Zizi were very familiar with each other, and they were even more familiar with each other than Qingya and Donghuang Baiji. After all, Qing Yutong and Yi Zizi had slept together for 5 years, played games together, and messed around together. Kai Yin said with an envious expression. You don't know, But last night, there was a man who ran into the imperial palace without a care for his life to confess to Zizi. Ah, there's such a thing? Why didn't you call me over to watch the show? Following what Qing Yutong said, Yi Zizi kicked Qing Yutong petulantly. You are too disgusting, I didn't sleep well last night. Yuhua chuckled. How is it disgusting? He's just expressing his deep feelings, okay? My God, the imperial palace has become like that. Could it be that? Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Brett nodded his head. Let's hurry up and leave. If brother-in-law gets angry, none of us will be able to escape. Qing Yutong hurriedly said. Everyone felt that what Qing Yutong said was reasonable. The imperial palace has already become like that. His honor will definitely get angry. Let's just let other people take the blame for this. The troublemaking team immediately ran out of Wushu Empire. As for where to go, they decided to go to the south to play. Because there was his honor in the north, there was no need for them to cause trouble in the north. The night dispersed and dawn arrived. Wushu Empire welcomed a new day, and residents began to emerge on the streets. All of them were filled with happiness. If a public opinion poll were to be done, the happiness index of the people living in Wushu Empire would definitely be full, because there was no need to worry about safety at all. In Kangluo continent, safety was more important than anything else. On Yihua's bed. Where's Yutong? Following Qingya's cry of surprise, Yihua and Donghuang Baiji both woke up. Yihua naturally covered for his sister-in-law. I don't know, she even pushed my butt yesterday night. Yihua said with a light smile. This time, I don't know when Yutong will come back. It seems like there isn't a lot of happiness. Donghuang Baiji cried out in surprise. Qingya, Yutong couldn't have left with Zizi and the others, right? This is bad. Qingya stood up and hurriedly wore her clothes. Yihua said faintly. She left early in the morning. You won't be able to catch up to her now. Qingya looked towards Yihua confusedly. You know that Yutong left? Then why didn't you stop her? Qingya was also worried about her little sister's safety. Yihua pulled Qingya into his embrace and said lightly, Yutong is already an adult. It would be good for her to go out and have a walk. Furthermore, with Yi Zizi and Brett around, what can possibly happen to her? You can be at ease. Aya, it's not like that. Yutong just likes to mess around. Yihua laughed. If she messes around, so be it. Even if she pokes a hole in the sky, I will still be able to add to it. Donghuang Baiji felt jealous. I am jealous, then I will have to properly console the two empresses. Go, wake up. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji hurriedly got up, not giving Yihua a chance to wake up. Yihua was just joking around. Under the help of Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, he put on the emperor robe and walked out of the bedroom. Then, Yihua became dumbfounded. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, who were following behind Yihua, were puzzled. When they saw the palace in front of them, they became dumbfounded as well. Daji, who was at the side, slightly lowered her head. She could clearly feel that her master's anger was rising. Who is it? Who is causing destruction in my palace? Yihua questioned coldly. Daji said respectfully, Master, a person barged in last night, and all of Master's subordinates are trying to stop him. A person? He came to barge into my palace. And he even made it look like this. Meeting. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji felt dizzy. I just had a meeting yesterday, and yet, I have another meeting today. After a while, Yihua sat on the throne. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji sat on the two sides, and Daji stood at the side to serve him. Below the throne, Yihua's subordinates were all shivering. I heard that a person barged in last night, and you guys are still trying to stop him. Yihua questioned. A person? You guys are a group of people, and you guys even made it look like this. I'm afraid that you guys are going easy on me. Wei Chang took a step forward and said respectfully, Your Honor, there was indeed a person who barged in last night, but, before Wei Chang could finish speaking, Yihua questioned gravely, Who is involved? Take a step forward. Chapter 887. All the subordinates took a step forward. Yihua immediately felt dizzy and shouted out angrily, Do you all have nothing better to do? Your Honor, please calm down, this matter is a bit complicated. Lai Gu cupped his hands and said, I was just scolded yesterday, and today I am scolded again. All right. In that case, tell me, how did it turn out to be? If you don't, I'll give you a discount. Right now, Yihua couldn't help but think of the Azure Dragon Empire's emperor. When he woke up early in the morning, he saw that his imperial palace had collapsed. Now he could finally understand the inner thoughts of that emperor. He could indeed be angered to death, especially when he had a bunch of powerful subordinates who caused such an outcome. It was even more infuriating. Lai Gu could be seen taking a step forward once again, and he actually took out his phone. Your Honor, this is the entire content of what happened last night. It was all caused by Yi Zizi, and we were also doing a good deed. When Lai Gu opened the video, the background music started ringing out from the palace. Sweet, your smile is so sweet. However, Yihua couldn't help but laugh. But not long later, Yihua's laughter rang out in the entire imperial palace. Even Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were covering their mouths and laughing lightly. This man is too talented. He had never seen someone who could spout nonsense like this. He was simply a genius. Who is this person? Yihua was unable to conceal the smile on his face. To think that such a thing would actually happen in the middle of the night. However, it must be said that this man's courage is indeed commendable. To actually dare to single-handedly run into my imperial palace and even profess his love in front of Yi Zizi, my God. Who gave you the courage? Lai Gu turned off his phone and said respectfully, Your Honor, we also don't know who this man is, but it seems like this man wants to obtain something from Yi Zizi. Did you get a butt? Yihua laughed out loud. Yi Zizi's subordinates also started laughing. If Yi Zizi was here, she would definitely dig 3 feet into the ground and bury herself. Qingye rolled her eyes at Yihua and said in a low voice, What but seriously? This was the first time that the subordinates saw His Honor laughing out loud like that. Gradually Yihua stopped smiling and immediately put on a stern face. Donghuang Baiji had seen people change their expressions before, but the speed at which Yihua changed his expression was truly fast. How interesting. You didn't even inform me. You made me lose the chance to watch the show. Yihua's heart ached. If I was present at the scene yesterday, it would definitely be more interesting. Gossiping about one's subordinates was the duty of a leader. All the subordinates immediately shut up. Right now silence spoke louder than words. Just like Do Fusher, he had suffered losses in the past, but now he would not stand out anymore. I don't care what you say, it's best for this kind of thing to happen on the other side. Otherwise, all of you will break up and get back together for me to see. Yihua, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Is there anyone who teases their subordinates like this? The subordinates felt dizzy, but those who didn't have girlfriends were fine, but those who had girlfriends all had bitter expressions. Today, I finally learned one thing. If I don't tell His Honor about something good, the consequences will be very serious. His Honor will make you break up with me anytime. Breaking up was considered a light punishment. In the past, the inhumane Yihua would be directly killed. Alright, I, the Supreme Overlord, would like to see the Imperial Palace return to its original state by noon. Recently, the main focus of my work should be placed on the harmony between humans and outsiders. Mu Ran has already started making plans, and when the time comes, I, the Supreme Overlord, will need actors to act as the main lead for the outsiders. Right now, Yihua was not going to let go of any interesting things. At that time, I will let Deathmage play the role of a bad person, and I will play the role of a good person, saving the humans in the abyss of suffering. This seems to be quite interesting. Subordinate obeys. Meeting dismissed. Yes. After giving out the important instructions, Yihua decided to eat a soup dumpling to calm himself down, then drink a bowl of kelp soup. Wow, this is simply too comfortable. Next, I will have to wait for Mu Ran's script. Seems like this year's Best Screenplay Award is going to be given to Mu Ran. Don't look at how small Mu Ran is, her brain is filled with a lot of things. Of course, there was also Yi Zizi and Yu Tong's script. The bigger the commotion that they create, the better. In the next few days, a rumor appeared in the entire northern part of Kangluo continent. That rumor was that Yuanyang Manor was destroyed. The The main point was that Yuanyang Manor was destroyed by an empire. After this rumor spread out, a lot of people didn't believe it. The manor lord of Yuanyang Manor is a Dozun. How is it possible for him to be destroyed by an empire? Everyone felt that this rumor was just a joke, but the truth proved that Yuanyang Manor was indeed empty. Furthermore, there were even rumors that Yuanyang Manor's Shi had fallen. When many things were added together, many people began to have doubts. However, they still didn't believe it. Because no matter how powerful an empire is, it is impossible for them to be a match for Yuanyang Manor and Viper Sect. Do you think that Dozun and Dodi are vegetarians? All of them are ruthless characters, existences that are able to destroy an empire with a single finger. Although they didn't believe it, the words Wushu Empire had already been imprinted in everyone's heart. There were even a lot of people who planned to go to northern Liangland to take a look and see if this Wushu Empire is as formidable as the rumors say. Right now, the troublemaking team was facing a problem. Don't stop me. I want to kill this slut. He has completely lost all of his face. Yi Zizi could be seen struggling crazily. Kai Yun and Qing Yutong each grabbed onto one side of Yi Zizi, holding onto the furious Yi Zizi. Not far away from the five of them, Yang Haoyan was squatting on the ground with a pitiful look on his face. His eyes were staring at Yi Zizi's butt. That red packet is right in front of me, but I just can't get it. This kind of situation caused Yang Haoyan to even have the heart to want to die. Qing Yutong originally didn't know about it, but after hearing about it from Kai Yun, she immediately laughed at Yi Zizi for an entire day, causing Yi Zizi to feel terrible. This is a stain in my life. Who the fuck would place his heart on someone else's, but he is simply shameless. Zizi, he is deeply in love with you, just give him a chance. In the end, Qing Yutong still couldn't help but laugh loudly. It was the first time that I saw Yi Zizi acting like this. I was too happy. Kai Yun was the same as well. That's right, look at him. He has already followed us all the way here. Didn't he just want to see your asterisk? Air. After Kai Yun finished speaking, the four women immediately laughed until they were rolling on the ground. Yang Haoyan immediately rolled up his sleeves and revealed his asterisk. This caused Yi Zizi to flip out once again. You stinking shameless person. I will definitely kill you today. Shuang Air, my heart has already fallen on your body. If you return it to me, I will leave. I'll return it to you, your asterisk. Yi Zizi couldn't help but curse. This man actually said touching my butt so openly. If you don't return it to me, I, Yang Haoyan, will follow you for the rest of my life, until my body turns into ashes and fuses with this world. Chapter 888. Upon hearing Yang Haoyan's words of love, Qing Yutong's scalp couldn't help but go numb. Even brother-in-law has never said such words before. This is too mushy. Alright. I will let you fuse with this world right now. Yi Zizi's twin ponytails immediately rushed toward Yang Haoyan. I must definitely suck this man to death. I reckon that his honor should already know about my matter right now, and he will definitely be laughing out loud. And those people, it was all because of this bastard. Seeing Yi Zizi's hair suddenly growing longer, Yang Haoyan was also scared witless, but he didn't leave. He even knelt on the ground with a thud. Even if you can kill me, you can't kill my soul. My soul will be immersed in this love, unable to extricate itself. Qing Yutong, Kai Yun, Brett, Yu Hua. However, Kai Yun's face was indeed filled with little stars. What touching words of love. If you said it to me, I would definitely agree. Yu Hua said gently, Banner Master, you can't trust a man's words. Then why did you believe in Lai Gu? Kai Yun didn't believe in Lai Gu and refuted. That's why I only found out about it now. So that's the case. Then Yu Hua, you should divorce Lai Gu and be together with me. Yu Hua. Qing Yutong hugged onto Yi Zizi. Forget it, don't get angry. How big of a matter is this? Isn't it just a man who is infatuated with you, and you want to kill him? I don't want to play with you anymore. You only know how to laugh at me. Yi Zizi stomped her feet and sat down angrily. Brett slowly sat to the side and lightly said, Women in the end must have a home. Old woman, I am not a woman. Yi Zizi tenderly snorted and turned around. That's true. Women aren't as flat as you. Brett. What are you talking about? Do you want to fight? Yi Zizi immediately stood up and shouted at Brett. Brett chuckled. I'm not afraid of you. Qin Yutong hurriedly ran over to stop the fight. What's wrong with the two of you, to actually want to fight just because you don't agree with each other? If brother-in-law were to see this, he would definitely scold the two of you. Humph. Yi Zizi and Brett didn't have a good relationship, and they often complained about each other. Yi Zizi called Brett an old woman, while Brett called Yi Zizi a flat-chested girl. The two of them had been quarreling for at least 1,000 years. At this moment, Kai Yin lowered his head and looked at Yu Huaz. He immediately fell silent. He comforted himself by telling himself that it was because he was not fully developed yet. However, after developing for more than 10,000 years, it still hasn't finished developing. You over there, come over for a moment. Qin Yutong shouted towards Yang Haotian, who was not far away. Yang Haotian, who was crazy about getting the red packet, immediately stood up and ran over. His eyes kept glancing at Yi Zizi's, but from time to time. The red packet on it was simply too tempting. In actuality, Qin Yutong already knew a little about it. This man also had a system, and it was a red packet system. According to the system's explanation, the man's red packet must have landed on Yi Zizi's butt, which was why such a thing happened. Qin Yutong became curious. Could it be that if I don't take this red packet, I won't be able to continue living? The system said that the red packet system was meant to take red packets. This was a main mission, and if one was not able to take the red packet, the main mission would stop. And sometimes the red packet system was also very deceptive. Sometimes, the red packet system would land on powerful figures. Just like what happened to Yi Zizi, who directly landed on someone else's, but this completely increased the difficulty of the red packet system. With a cold face, Yi Zizi suddenly punched towards Yang Haotian, and the latter did not even have the chance to react. However, a small hand grabbed onto Yi Zizi's small hand. Zizi, how can you be like this, wanting to kill people for no reason? Kai Yin held onto Yi Zizi's hand and said with a smile. Yi Zizi snorted. Count yourself lucky. For Kai Yin to be able to easily grab onto Yi Zizi's fist, it seems that his strength is very great. After all, Yi Zizi's fist is not to be trifled with. Yang Haotian was really worried that he would be beaten to death before he could even get the red packet. You are called Yang Haotian, right? Qin Yutong asked. And that's right. Where are you from? I am from the south. The south. Other than Yi Zizi, the other four women felt that this man was somewhat useful. After all, they were not very familiar with the south. Alright, I am not very familiar with the north either. What do you do? Speak honestly, if not, we are not going to save you. Qin Yutong said seriously. There are some things that cannot be joked about. If I don't feel that it is interesting, I will just let Yi Zizi kill me. Yang Haotian pursed his lips and used this short period of time to think crazily in his mind. After thinking about it, Yang Haotian felt that it would be better for him to speak the truth. If not, he would really not be able to get the red packet, and his life would be left here. Actually, I am the emperor of an empire in the south. Yang Haotian chose to speak the truth. Emperor? This caused the five women to be startled for a moment. Then, why did you come to Wushu Empire? Qin Yutong asked curiously. If you don't have a good reason, then I will just send you to heaven. I heard about Wushu Empire, and I just came over to take a look. Suddenly one day I saw. Yi Zizi suddenly turned her head around and said with a sinister look on her face, I dare you to say one more sentence, no one will be able to save you. I won't say any more. I won't say any more. After that, I lost my appetite. After that, you guys understand. Yang Haotian said in a low voice, fearing that he would be punched to death by Yi Zizi. What Qin Yutong needed right now was the information about the south, and adding on that this person was the emperor, he should know a lot of things. Who is the most impressive person in the south? Qin Yutong asked curiously, seemingly intending to go and find those impressive people. If we are to talk about the most impressive existences in the South, then it should be Meridian Break Sect and Shin Academy. Qing Yutong had naturally heard of them before. Ali and the others were sent to these two sects to learn. Since I have already come to the South, I will go and see how they are doing. Other than these two, what else is there that is impressive? Qing Yutong asked again. If one wants to do something, one must choose a good person. Young Haotian was puzzled. Just what are these 5 women planning to do? Could it be that they are planning to challenge the sects? They are directly going to challenge the Meridian Break Sect and Shin Academy. There are overlords there. If one is not careful, one will die. Other than these two, the South is basically the same as the North. There are a lot of powers that are scattered all over the South. After listening to Yang Haotian's words, Qing Yutong paused for a moment, then said, "You can leave first. We have matters to discuss." "Alright, if there is anything you need, just call me." Yang Haotian decided. If I want to get a red packet, I have to first take care of my sisters. If the Air sisters serve them well, they would have a chance to get their own red packets. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.